block, but we've got Sharif. I know he's going to be looking at some small cappers for sure. There are plenty of them, including, well, I don't know if you're going to be involved in that EKSO that's on the list, but that's one of them, Xena moving as well. I know you see them. So let's go on over. We've got Sharif. He'll be joined by Obi in a minute for the minute.
I'll be there.
I thought I was gonna ramble too.
There we go, baby. Let's go. Boom. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. There's nobody beside me yet, but they will be there soon. Your boy Joey Options is on vacation. Obi filling in. He'll be here in a minute. But let's say hello to everybody, Ram, because they're all coming on in from the other stream. We got Outlawed Trader, the OG Bovin, Papacito's in the house, as well as Oxlong, Yannick. We got Oslam. We got Jay Quingy. Oh, the names are just going. We got Machiavelli, Ichiro's in the house. Shout out to Shadow. Shout out to Bora, T-Mash, Shock, Keith, Alfonso, Gore of the OG in the house, as well as Ticker Checker. We got It's Master Cool and Nobody 2310. I like that. 95 Geety. We got Donovan, Henry, and Durant Gordon. Position Trader 7. Mike PD Ryder, Bruce Homer, as well as Commodity King. I love that name, man. Clisto 98. We got Juan Lu 84 95. We got Baby Hands Donnie. Oh, man, that just reminds me of President Trump and Marco Rubio. Oh, God, I don't want to remember that part again. AJ Hoa, we got Matt Winch, Kirk D, let's go. Sunny Boy, we got T Moon, Oki, Kur, and M Downey, Eclectic Passions joining us as well. Man, Trade Sniper TV, good morning, right back at you. Yummy Thai Foods, who else, man? Steve Knight, we got Channel Name 327, and Jaguar Nut. Hope everybody is happy, having a fantastic morning here. It has been an interesting one in the world of small cap gappers. So Ram, let's take a look at what is moving. Here is what I've got on the side chart. And right away, you see that hot garbage SLS take a dive off a cliff. It's 399 high, but all hell is breaking loose to the downside hot now. It's losing trend and then some. I mean, it looked like a steady state higher high, higher low with some defending prints here at the volume weighted average price. But that one has lost the ghost, and it's lost the ghost in a hurry. So we will keep an eye out on that one. But this one here, what the hell is this? RDW, look, it's not up big on the day. It's only up about 13.75%. Just got through $8, doing the dance right now at the whole dollar, $7.95, $7.96. What caught my attention on this one was clearly not the percentage up or down on the day, but the ridiculous buy program that's been involved or been on since 10:35. This is the 5-minute chart on RDW. It is a series of higher lows and higher highs. Pure Greenville here on RDW taking out as well that 7.75 area that we had an initial area of resistance with, and that is going to be my main focus. I'm looking for either a holding of 8, which doesn't look like it's going to happen because we don't even close above 8 there on the 5-minute candle, or so $8 doesn't look like it's going to hold. So I'm looking for a move back into 7.75 and or the 10 EMA, which is about 5 pennies lower than that level, okay? So the closing print's all about 770, the wick 775. That is going to be my look. But first and foremost, we need this current red candle to make a new low, and it looks like it's on the way to doing that. We'll have to see if it's the same area low or whether it makes a new area low. RDW. Neil bringing this one to your attention before the show started. EKSO, not ESCO. It would have been great. We could have like had a whole thing with Nas, but it's not to be. EKSO. This one really got off the schneid, as my friend Neil likes to say, right at 4:45 yesterday. Probably news catalyst. I don't care, okay? I look for the technicals. In any event, we kind of gapped down, not gapped down, we do. We gapped down a little bit at 4 a.m. We had closed out about $7.50 at 8 p.m. yesterday. We opened about $7 today, but that was really the worst print of the day because it's been a series of higher lows and higher highs since that time. Alas, this one clears 10, has trouble with 11, but look at it come in and hold the 10 EMA on the 5 like a glove, and there it is right back above 10 into 10 2/3, knocking on the door of 10.5. It is up 90%, and it will certainly be in play for me today if RDW gives up the ghost. GLSI, this is a holdover from yesterday. It's very much an inside day today for GLSI. You see that big boy move yesterday into that $30, I want to say an 80-cent area, but that was as good as that trade was going to be on the day because it dropped all the way back to 23 and 2/3. When all was said and done, though, the closing print came a little bit below 25, right around 24 and 4/5. And here we are up nicely again to the tune of 14.5%. But we are ensconced by yesterday's highs as well as yesterday's lows, hence why I'm kind of saying it's an inside day. Not saying that that's bad. You can still ride trend, but, you know, it's not the best of the bunch. AEHL looks okay. I mean, it's up 85%. Who could hate on that? But the chart pattern, not that great. We had a great looking bull flag earlier on. You thought this was going to come and hold VWAP right around 210. It does the exact opposite. Loses VWAP, loses 2, comes into that pre-market high, a couple of pennies above that pre-market high area. I'm talking about the 7 a.m. print right around 190, holds that level, and now it's still putting in lower highs. I mean, you don't need to be a chartered market technician to connect these area highs. It's still lower high, lower high, lower high. That doesn't interest me. I need a trend change to the high side. But there goes EKSO. We were talking about this one. It ripped up into 11 and a third. 1132 high. This one clearly has some momentum behind it there with good volume. This candle has about 2 and I want to say a third million shares in this 1 5-minute candle alone, propelling this one over 100%. It's obviously very volatile. I'm not punching in at these highs. I need to have some sort of a pullback into a technical area, but it looks awfully good here, so we're going to have to keep an eye out on this one. And then, just before we get OB to chime in, CETX. This one wasn't a holdover from yesterday in the strict sense. This one started moving in the aftermarket. Right around 410 is when I see the first big print. When all was said and done yesterday, we closed out at 211, but when 8 p.m. came, we were about 43% higher. And today, we're up more. We're up about 47%, but we are off the highs. It seems like there is a double top here at 3 1/3, coming back down to 310 now where VWAP is. I'm hesitant to use VWAP here because VWAP on CETX looks more like a line of best fit than any area of clear support or resistance. It cuts through the price action almost like, yeah, that, what do they call that? The line that goes through the price perfectly like that. It's line like, of best fit? Yeah, a line of best fit. Yeah, it's kind of what I just said there. I thought there was another word to it, but yeah. So I don't know if I want to use VWAP RAM on CETX, but we'll have to wait and see what that one does. Last but not least, there's a 2 there on the right side of your screen, AXTI on the top right, AISP on the bottom right, looking kind of similar, and they're both bull flags trying to hold VWAP as support. If I had to choose, AXTI looks a little bit better. It's up a little bit less, but those are the ones that I'm looking at. SLS is going to lose its spot on the side chart there any moment. But yeah, if there are any that I haven't mentioned that you have eyes on, I always appreciate if you could tag OB or I and let us know what you're looking at there. But those are the ones I'm looking at. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, for sure, man. Likewise. Yeah, how are you guys doing? I'm back. What's going on? So I stepped away for a bit, got stopped out of the SIDU, came back, and I was like, well, I still kind of want to be in this trade here. So punched back in. SLV holding that range here. So if you weren't here during the morning session, pre-market trading was absolutely mint on SLV, with size chasing it down from 69.30s all the way down and past VWAP, actually almost for a whole dollar. They're pretty much $1.10. It came down to 83.30s and some change, and then that action became distinctly different. I like that, bought that up, and then we had a nice, beautiful reversion all the way back into the top of the range here. And since then, we've been holding that range pretty well, Sharif. So 69.30s, a little bit of a supply zone, and then 68s, the low 68s, a bit of a demand zone here, kind of sandwiched in. And you can see the market here as well, guys. A bit of a chip chop, straight wipe off of the open, wipe back down, and then wiping back up. So very range-bound market coming into the end of the year right now. So yeah, I like that. I like if things are holding ranges, we can look for some of the Mag 7s that are potentially holding a similar kind of range there. But silver for sure is holding a range on the day and giving us lots of opportunities. Whether you want to go long, whether you want to go short, doesn't matter. It's giving you opportunities for both ways here. So let's see. Let's see. Let's take a quick look at some of the Mag 7s here, and then see what's actually following alongside with that of the rest of the market, and look for things that are distinctly different as well. So Softy with a bit of a trend up. So maybe this breakout is coming into fruition here as we push up into 490s, holding VWAP pretty well, and yeah, definitely pulling up to this prior week range high as well. But take a look at this, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Is this a flat top breakout right here? Kind of. It's kind of messy, but it's showing us that supply. Today's the day we're just ripping up into it during the middle of the day, which is distinctly different than any of this, any of the rest of the price action here. Because look, the first time where we kind of start defining this range here, we sell off in the middle of the day. We sell off at the beginning of the day. Morning sell-off, maybe a slow grinding bit in the middle of the day on Wednesday, the 24th, right there, sideways chop this day, selling off midday here, but yeah, distinct difference with a bit of a bid coming in on the day today. So is today the day we finally kind of break through this range and sustain going into the end of the day? Silver back down to its VWAP as of right now here as well. So let's quickly go through the rest of them. Amazon sideways chop, makes sense. Nothing too crazy there, except for the open. The open had some interesting price action as well as we come in and clip prior day low, and then we clip in and around prior day close or the highs as well, however you want to take a look at that. Meta was the one that was doing some decent volume and extension off of the open there. Strong push, but beautiful reversion back down into VWAP. 66690s is where VWAP is currently sitting at, and we're kind of chopping around, holding orbit around VWAP there. Tesla, of course. On Tesla. Tesla's the belle of the ball when it comes to the Mag 7. And strong flush. And I said this in the pre-market, Sharif. I was like, look at the tight consolidation after the gap up here on Tesla. I don't know whether it's going to go up or going to go down, but the range break could definitely be something of significance. And you had to be there, because that got front run right into the open. And then that came in aggressively off of the open. So if you took that breakdown, even if you were late to the pre-market consolidation low break, take a look at this. If you take that 461 half break, you can be hella late as well. You can take the prior day close at 459s and some change and still be along for the ride and catch about 1.3%, 1.29% to the lows. And the reversion comes in just the same as well. I took some scalps here on Tesla. Let me see, what did I do on Tesla? Let me take a look. Where's the Tesla? I thought I paired this to that, and I guess it's not paired. Let's just go to Tesla here. Tesla trades on the Nasdaq. So I just took some quick scalps there, nothing crazy. So I missed this trade, I missed this trade, and I was like, okay, let's see if it comes right back down, because the market is kind of within range. Holds VWAP, shows some strength, tape turn. I'm like, all right, cover most of it, cover all of it here, because I'm like, the probability of it breaking through 460 in that moment was pretty high. I don't need to give it to my stop in that kind of scenario. So Tesla, another good vehicle for trading on the day. We looked at Amazon. What have we not looked at? Google. Let's take a peek at that one, at this one here. So a nice little range on the day as well, following along with the rest of the market pretty decently. So when the market goes up, it goes up. Market comes down, it comes down, and nice little sideways chop. So that's what I have on watch right now. And SIDU is one that I am involved with currently. And it's not showing my position because Joe's on the board here.
Come on, Joey.
SIDU is the only stock that I am in right now. Just a little bit here, looking for a potential pushback down. It has been selling pretty much off of that $3 mark in the morning right here. We made a lower high. We break down this opening range low. That's why I liked it a little bit earlier. I added onto the position there as well. And then now holding that 280s. So this is what I have. This is what I have on watch here on SIDU. What are you guys looking at? I'm waiting for the next trade. I'm waiting, watching. Got to be patient. I know Sharif's in a few names there. Talk to us about some small caps, because as you can see, I'm starting to get involved.
I love it, Oba. I mean, I'm noticing we have a lot more small caps on the board.
In play,
yeah, in play, of course. And we are getting a lot more of our audience as well. I think that they're starting to like these because we're starting to see quite a few people in them. So I'm just trying to deal with, I don't know what the hell happened to my EKSO trade there. How could I get stopped out? What's going on? Okay, just give me a sec to figure that out. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Now we'll set up properly here. We got 39s on. Okay, so I've got two other trades that I want to talk about, but EKSO is obviously the aggressive mover. So I don't know how I just got stopped out of that. I think I put my stop in the wrong place. I'm looking to defend to prior bar low. So prior bar low goes into 1092. So generally 11. So let's see what 11 does. Here comes 11. Let's see if we can pick some up right off the whole dollar. And then that gives us the opportunity of not losing too much on our DCA, because we'll get stopped out super close to the prior bar low. So here it is, showing me 7s, 8s. Let's see if the buying comes in into the low single digits. Doesn't look like it is. Not letting me in. Great. Let me see if it'll let me in here. No, not letting me in. Let's see if it drops down a little bit more. There we go. Now we get the add. So let's go ahead and put it below prior bar low for that exact amount. There we go. So we'll put that in. We got 30s on here on EKSO. So let's put some profit takers to the high side in case this one does catch a bid. I feel like I might have caught this one at an inopportune time, but we're going to give this one the old college try anyway, given that we are super close to prior bar low. So what is it showing me now? It's still showing me mid-teens, mid to low teens. So we'll pack the patience there. I've already put in my stop. But CETX doing real good over here, right into the high. So is RDW. So we've got a nice position on both of those. It's really the EKSO trade that's undecided. RDW is a lot slower of a trade, but we got in a nice position here. I didn't get the add, sadly, into 76. It looks like it came into 76, but 77, excuse me, but it didn't cross, so I didn't get the add there. So we'll pack the patience, see if this one wants to come back down. I think it is breaking a little bit of a trend here, whereas took it prior bar high on RDW. Prior bar high was 91 3/4. This current bar high is 94. So let's see how that one acts. And then CETX stair-stepping up. So I kind of said I didn't like the look of VWAP here as an area of support or resistance, but it held it on a 2-candle basis. So I'm going to base my trade off it. Now the problem is, ever since we put in that candle at 1050, the high of which is 335, it has been, pardon me, it has been lower high, lower high, lower high in almost every candle since that 1050 candle, at least on the 5. So to change our tune, I think we need to get above 330. We'll have to wait and see if that ends up coming in. How's EKSO doing? Well, it's still dilly-dallying here. It's still holding prior bar low. Let's see if it, ends up closing this way. Back into the quarter dollar we go. I have a 30 average, so we're out of the money by 6 pennies, but it's up 105%. Let's see if the longs want to step in here or the shorts are going to be in control of this one now. It looks like there's a seller here at the quarter dollar that we can't shake, up into 27s on the ask, 24 in the bid, but no continuation. So this one looks more of a thick trade here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this one's setting up quite yet. So here it comes down into 11, so this one will likely stop me out if it loses 1092. Yeah, a bit of a tough one on this one. Here comes 11, and now it's a 2-candle pullback. Now, here's the deal. It's not going to end the trade for me because that 1050 area, I don't want to DCA into 1050, but I like the 1050 area as another area to get in. Because that's a 10 EMA as well as the breakout area. But there goes CETX into the high. We got 13s on this one. It's showing me 29s. Let's set up at 33. The high of the day is 37. So by default, I'm putting an order above that to take the print there if we can take out the high of the day. CETX is looking real good over here. RDW, not so much. CTX much better. There it goes into 34. We're about 2 or 3 pennies off the high of the day now on CETX. Looking for 38s next. 37 is the high that we put in, I want to say, right at the implied balance open, right at 935. So good strength here on CTEX. And there is a flat top of sorts because all the mid to high 30 prints, all of which have rejected on the day, could give way. There's 37, saw that momentarily. I'm actually waiting at 38. So packing the patience over here as this one into the high there. It is OB into 38. Boom. Now we're gonna set up at 43. Let's see what this one has to offer us. Can we get a little bit more? CETX, I don't want to take out too much too quickly here so that we have some for this one if it continues to go. 60% in the Ville of Green, but looking for a little bit more here into the $50 seller, huge seller at 36. And that seller wasn't there, and it's a hidden seller more likely than not. So we'll keep an eye out on that. How's RDW doing? okay, 94 is not bad. Where am I waiting? I'm waiting on 95, 97s. Okay, so we'll have to pack the patience there. How's that hot garbage EKSO? It's not hot garbage. I'm just out of the money on it. That's why I'm being a little bit bitter. We're about 3 pennies, 5 pennies now out of the money. Is this one right back into that quarter dollar? The same seller, that same pesky bugger at 26s, 25, 27s. He's dampening everybody's long party over here on EKSO. Looks like we'll have to take him out before we can get our first print obe.
Yeah, so this market just broke out of its highs here on the Nasdaq. The ES kind of following along there as well. So I did get a little bit of a short here on Tesla because I'm like, okay, well, we got all the way up to 62s. This is where kind of supply came in pretty aggressively off of the open. Do we see more of the same as we start to step up here? But again, the VWAP long has been working out quite well. At the same time, I'm watching SIDU pretty closely here as we kind of hold this area. So I like this. I don't know. Like I said before to Sharif, I've been talking to Sharif about potentially trading small mid caps a little bit more because they are very much in play. I got to get comfortable with focusing on the in play names at the same time. Like, yes, sure, large caps are great. The liquidity is there. That's kind of where I think a bigger picture end game might be. But it is what it is. So I do have to kind of pick up some of the opportunities on small to mid caps, and I have not been doing that over the past couple of years. But I like it. This market is very fruitful. Jack Keys in the chat saying small caps are way more fun. I'm not looking for fun, man. We talk about I understand. Yeah, it can be fun.
Stressful.
But I'm looking for consistent. I'm looking for scalability. Yes. You can definitely scale very decently on small caps, especially when they're doing amazing things. Like what was it? There are times where small caps do so much volume, hundreds of millions of shares, unlimited liquidity.
I've seen billions, brother.
Yeah, billions as well.
Billions,
unlimited liquidity, and those are the times where you want to have that skill set to really hone into those moments and be like, okay, now this is very, this is very scalable at that point, right? So that playbook I'm definitely going to be working on as well. But yeah, a little involved in some of these here. Silver continuing to hold a bit of that trend here. Take a look at what it does when it comes right back in, right? So it comes up to the high of the range, 69.30s, boom, slamming down. A bit of a wick happening there on a 3-minute, on a 5-minute, whatever you want to call it, different time frames. There's a bit of selling happening here at the top of the range. Now the question becomes, is that selling going to continue and pull back into range lows here at 68s? That's potentially what I'm looking for here now with SLV. And with the market pushing this aggressively, I think the probability of Tesla printing that 62 is becoming higher and higher. Then the question becomes, do I want to take it off here? Or do I want to let it actually tell me that I'm wrong all the way up at 62? So I'm going to be a little bit patient here because it is a bit of a sideways chop, and we are in an area where, supply did come in earlier. Let's see if this is a wick, false break, failure to follow through of the opening range highs here on the market as we pull a little bit back in. How much time is left on this 15-minute candle? There's about 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. So I'm going to give it some more room, give it some more time for that to come into fruition. What are you guys trading? Gabby Frigo saying just long IBIT, man. Hey man, I'll leave the IBIT trading to Joe, but we can take a look at IBIT right now and see what's going on here. Okay, some strong push there. So I guess Bitcoin is bidding up as well. Again, the market kind of following along in step as well. But yeah, no, IBIT decent move there. VWAP hold. I know that Joe likes to look at 5-minute charts.
Get it, Joey.
So let's take a look at 5-minute charts to see if any of those.
That's not Joey.
Don't worry about it, Ram. We're printing over here. I'm getting pumped.
Nice. Good stuff there. Let's take a quick look at BTC and see what that's up to right here.
Don't kill me, Ram.
Right here.
I always get worried, bro. I get worried. You never know what she's going to do, bro.
Yeah. Did you see how she was drifting that truck, bro? You got to watch out.
Yeah. Did she ever show you the picture where she's like standing up on the truck on the wheel because she can't quite get into the hood? Yeah. What were you doing, Ram? Were you trying to change the windshield washer fluid?
No, I said I was changing the fuse and
the
fuse
fuse
box for the car.
My bad.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually quite impressed.
Yeah.
That's a feat, girl. All right, baby, here we go. Sorry, Ob, I just got to cover this. We got in aggressively at 11, scalped up. I added like a psycho into this position, and here we are again on EKSO. We've taken out prints into the high 70s. I'm looking for the 80s, 82, 88. You better bet your bottom dollar. This thing loses $1/3 of a dollar, I'm out. It's simple as that. Here comes 40s. If it loses 30s, I'm gonzino. I should have been gonzino at the half dollar. Here comes the bottom 30s. We've already unloaded most of the clip onto the move to the high side, but I don't want to take it out too quickly in case it does find support here. Back into the low 40s we go, but it feels like maybe here the selling coming in. Wow, right up to the half dollar. That was an aggressive buyer there, right at the, I think, the 30 penny area. There's 51. We're going to wet the beak here. I don't know, man. The 5-second chart shows me some weakness coming in here. So what I'm doing, guys, I'm trying to see where the localized buying and selling is on a very micro time frame, because that's how these small cap gappers live. They live in a very, very micro time frame. There it goes up into the 60s again, looking for a little bit more. We're going to post up, not at 66 ever, sorry. There we go. Now we're posting up at 70s as well, looking for the continuation above the half dollar. So there's buying, local buying, almost exactly at 33, and there it goes again, Ob, into 80s, clearing out all my prints. Go, EKSO, go, you little, you know what, okay? Now we're gonna wait for 12 to touch and drop.
Slap it around.
There it goes, into the high of the day. Give me my money, man. Now we're up on it nicely here. We took like double the position. All right, we're feeling good about this one. Let's see what this one has to offer. I'm gonna set up a little bit through 12. If this one can get through 12, we're gonna get back in. We're exhausted, the shares over here, so we're gonna keep an eye here. 11.99, that is a double top, but what keeps me very optimistic, despite the double top at that level, is the higher lows that are kind of accumulating into the double top of 11.99. So great look on EKSO, up 116, 117 here. Wow, there it is, 12.28 high. Go, EKSO, go. This one could be on the way to 15, who knows? Holiday shortened trading day, maybe the big algo traders are not there, and when they're not there, the crazy cats are gonna let loose on this one. So let's see what we can get here. 228 high. Have we cleared $12 by a substantial amount now that we can start using that 12 area as a buy zone? You can get it as a scalp. Clearly, because it's bouncing off 12 into the 20s and then the low 30s, but no exact continuation above that. But it feels like just a matter of time until this one takes out the high of the day on 28s again. Here's 24s, 25s, just flash there momentarily. Let's keep an eye on that. How are my other trades doing, man? I have other trades. 13s on CETX coming back down into 18s. I need to be careful there, but RDW treating me real well, man. Right into $8. It doesn't take out that $8 high at 802 because it only got into 803, so I should have crossed there, but it didn't. Anyway, it's showing 99, so that's not such a bad look. But EKSO's continuing to go. So it's a 1243 high. We could see $13 momentarily here, a 1248 high. Let's see if we can get through that half dollar. If you're a small cap trader and you don't mind the crazy volatility that you're getting right now on EKSO, we'll then have a look at this one. The spread is very reasonable. I've seen it wide at times, like 15 pennies, but most of the time it's like 2 or 3. It's done 64 million shares on the day. There's plenty of liquidity for you to get in and get out quick as you like, but trade it carefully and trade it with a freaking plan. It'll rip your face off. Oh, sorry.
Yes, sir. So I got out of that Tesla there because as soon as we started holding that 461, the market's kind of out of ties. I'm like, yeah, this is probably headed. I said earlier, the probabilities were stacking for that 62 push. And yeah, I guess that's starting to work out as well. So good job, longs, getting through that level. But let's see what's going on in crypto with the Dara.
We're going to start here with XRP. XRP, as you can see here, to put it very mildly, a steep downtrend going back to July of 2025. We make this double top, then we push lower. Now, why am I bringing it up today? Because we know what we actually have XRP ETFs, and XRP ETF inflows apparently actually doing quite well now. Apparently, with this latest investment, XRP and ETFs have a cumulative net inflow of $1.15 billion. Total AUM, or assets under management, here at $1.24 billion. So interesting look there for XRP. Let's take a look at that Bitcoin daily chart. BTC, maybe trying to form a little bit of a bottom. As I've said for the past couple days now, maybe longer, it needs to get above that 90,000 half level. If we push above that level, BTC could potentially go higher. Right now, though, support here, 86.5s. Again, that 86.5 to 90 halves range does continue to show up. Let's take a look here at Ethereum quickly before we send you back to the guys. ETH continues to look kind of similar to Bitcoin. We do have these higher lows from the low, but again, trading in a bit of a range for Bitcoin, or sorry, for Ethereum, it'll be around 3,070 top, bottom here around 2880. So some ranges here to watch for BTC and Ethereum in the daily charts. And congrats to Ethereum, or sorry, congrats to XRP ETFs. Back to you.
Yep, thank you.
That they're causing a bit of a ripple in on the charts. Let me see how the good old XRP is doing.
Get him, Ram.
Here, XRP USD, Coinbase. See how that's doing. Ooh, okay, all right, cool, nice. $1.87, so basically it hasn't done much over the past couple of months. So let's see here. Yeah, exactly. So pulling right back in. Consolidation low break. Look at that. Does that look like a flat bottom break right there, Sharif, on XRP monthly XRP monthly chart right here? This is where boom, 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 boom.
Or
I mean,
it could be a bull flag.
It could be a bull flag, but here's the thing: unless and until that buying comes right back in, then we have to kind of watch that there. Wow,
sure.
This Tesla is ripping to the upside right now, going a little crazy. Yeah, SIDU is going as well. I've been stopped out a couple of times there. I'm just like, all right, cool. If you're gonna pull back into VWAP, I guess the reversion was nice. I was thinking about it here in the 70s, and I was like, is this really gonna go? It's been selling off. We're holding opening range low, but I guess the trade is once you get back above opening range lows, the breakout has failed to follow through. So maybe the probability of us going that way goes down a little bit there. But I still gotta track this stuff a little bit more and figure it out. Back to opening range highs here on Tesla. So that's going really nicely. 463s as of right now. And where is VWAP, you may ask, here on SIDU. Sidus space, I have it here. One of my VWAPs is $2.89. And here it seems like a little bit lower. It seems like it's around $2.86. So a few pennies discrepancy there in between a couple of different charts. But yeah, it's headed towards VWAP is what I'm seeing. Now VWAP could mean absolutely bupkis, right, Sharif? So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Like, how often does VWAP actually hold on small caps? I want to ask you because you're.
It's key, Ob, and that's kind of one of my rules, that if it's trading below the pre-market high or if it's trading below VWAP, it's got to be above both. Otherwise, I don't get involved. Now, sometimes I find myself, caught in a trade when it's dropped below VWAP. Right. That happens, but I'll never enter the trade if it's trading below the pre-market high or it's trading below VWAP. I think it respects it a lot. It also, another thing that I seem to see a lot is the 10 EMA on the 5. The 10, the 9, the EMAs, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the shorter
some of those
dated, the shorter EMA seems to be respected.
Yeah,
a lot.
I see that right away here, Sharif. So I'll pull up my EMAs here. I'll pull up this specific chart on SIDU. Thank you for that. But yeah, look, SIDU right here. This yellow line is an 8 EMA here on my chart, and it does reclaim. So not only does it reclaim an opening range low, it starts to reclaim this downtrend here. So maybe I am chasing this. Like I said, I'm not so good at the continuation trades here, but this I was thinking to myself, I'm like, hey, dude, this is probably a reversion. But then I'm like, I don't know. Well, we've been kind of holding this opening range low. So it did give us a decent move off of the trend break, and we did revert to VWAP for a nice 6% move. It took about 45 minutes for that to happen. But yeah, thank you for that, Sharif. I'll take a look at I'll take a closer look at some of these moving averages when it comes to these small caps as well. Add that along to my roster. I do watch them a little bit when things are respecting. I'll watch it when it's not. I don't really concern myself with it on the chart, but if Sharif says that, yeah, these small caps do hold the moving averages every now and then, more often than not, yeah, definitely worth kind of having on the chart and as a little bit of a guide, right? As a little bit of a guide. That opening range low also nice as well. And Intel, hello. Okay, you're a little extended. Let's see what you're up to. Maybe this is the next trade. Oh, market's turning as well. Let's see. Tesla, what are you up to? I'm looking for maybe a potential pullback here on one of these names if the market is to turn and wipe back in. This is what I said before, maybe a false break of opening range highs. I'm going to say market, I might as well just trade the market, right, Sharif? So let me go in. TQs, where you at? Right here. Okay, so this is what the TQs are looking like right now, guys. So a little bit of a pullback. I guess the trade on the TQs was a little bit more at 70s, not at 54, 57s here. Bit of a chase down, so I guess I will look to potentially size down. Wow, it goes even more. So I want to look for something that's lagging behind now. I guess Tesla is the one that's kind of lagging behind, but it made its way all the way up to opening range highs. So, and we have been selling off aggressively. So relative strength, I don't know.
All right, can I cover a couple things?
Yeah, go for it.
EKSO breached prior bar low, preceded by a topping tail candle on the 5, Ram. Here's what I'm seeing, if I can just bring in my black charts over here. So somebody was asking me in the chat, I'm like, look, I'm looking for the buy zone here. Initially, it was 11 to 11.5. That's changed. It was 11 because that's where the 10 EMA on the 5 was showing. That is obviously adjusted as these moving averages are dynamic. So it's now 11.25 to 11.5. But I don't like the topping tail candle preceded by a lower high and a lower low. It could be fine, a 2-candle pullback before we rock it up. You have a number of options here. One, you can build your position here with the idea that I'll build my position into 11.25 to 11.5. That's fine. So it's showing 11 4/5 right now. Or you can take the breakout trade. Now, you're not going to get a great price by doing that. You say, all right, look, I'm going to base my entry on this current bar, this 11.35 bar on the 5, the high of which is 12.23. So you say to yourself, if this or the next candle breaches 12.25, like it's just going to do right now, I go long. Now, ideally, this current candle closes so you could base your trade on the next candle that breaches the prior bar high. Now, sometimes it doesn't set up that way, just like you're seeing with this candle. So this candle has a lower high and a lower low, but it looks like as if, the buyers are stepping in right around 11 4/5, 12, and pushing this one up to 12.25. So EKSO in play. You never really know where this is going to find support. You can kind of just use the 5-second chart like sometimes that I do just to gauge areas of localized support and resistance to see where the buyers are stepping in over and over again. But sometimes that doesn't work. It really does come down to a little bit of intuition on this. So there seems to be, based upon, oh, wow, there it goes into 12 and a third on the way to 12.5. In fact, the high of this candle now is 44s. So essentially the $0.50, it's still lower high and lower low, man. I mean, I don't know what to do. And there you go. Look at it drop right back down into 11.90s. Nah, I need to see a better setup. Now, that candle's closed. 2 candles that are red. The prior candle, the one that just closed, is a candle of indecision with upper and lower wicks at basically triple the size of the body of the candle. So a lot of equilibrium right now between buyers and sellers, at least in the prior candle. This candle, current candle, I'm talking about the 1140 candle, lower high, not yet though, a lower low. Does it come down to 11.5? Not really, not at least yet, zigging and zagging with $12. But the fact that it's hanging around $12 and this thing is up 120% shows you that the bulls are still very much interested in getting involved in this name. So EKSO, gonna be in focus for me here. I don't need to be quick to jump in again, but I'm definitely watching this one do its thing. Now, what happened? I saw something triggered. I got stopped out for the last remaining amount on CTEX. I'm fine with that, very positive on it. It's holding VWAP, but this is the problem, the same problem that we had, I wanna say, save and except for this one candle that caused me to get a whole bunch of prints. I'm talking, of course, about the 1120 candle. It is still a symphony of lower highs, even again with that topping tail candle 1120, the closing prints all showing lower high, lower high, lower high. The funny thing though is I was talking crap about VWAP here on CETX and it made me eat my words. I'm gonna have to recant the whole thing because now it is once, twice, OB, he is the one thrice, and then a 4th time, 4 candles on the 5-minute chart are finding support at VWAP. Or is it a previous area of resistance? Of course, I'm talking about that pre-market high, 1125 and 1130. the high of which was 310. Are we finding support back at that pre-market high? Hard to tell, but it's a lower high either way, so we'll have to see how this one does. Okay, EKSO just pooped right into 11.5. This is the buy zone now. Let's keep an eye out on this one. I want to flip to the 5-second chart on my platform to see where the localized selling and buying is. Looks like the local zone is 1135. Local area low, 1135. That is the 5-second candle, 1141.05. So I want to see, does this find support here? Now, if you get in here, you can just give it to 1135. There's 35 again showing up. There's 30. It's losing the bid. It's losing it in a hurry. It's still not, though, below the 10 EMA on the actual 5-minute chart. 5-second chart, it's losing trend. 1160 local area high on the 5-second. 1130 local area low. There it goes into mid-50s. I was going to say 1160. That's incorrect. But it's holding trend here, so it's a 3-bar pullback on EKSO on the 5-minute chart, but holding trend in the sense that it's still holding the 10 EMA on the 5, and it did this before. Look at that. It had respect for the 10 EMA on the 5. Look at what it did. 1055, 11, and then the breakout candle at 1105. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a small share size here into 1130. It loses 1130, I'm out. Simple as that. Okay, so let's go ahead, give it a bit of room so that we don't get wicked out. What do we get? We got 51s. Oh, okay, all right. We're going to go 63. That will have to obviously be a print above the 60. There we go. Now we get the first print. 65's now showing up. No continuation into 69. I'm posted at 69 and 77. And now we're going to post at 88s, but there's not going to be a big bump up. It looks like there's a seller here of note at 65. Hidden seller. There he goes, into 69. Good look there. No print yet, though, on 77s. Looking for continuation on that one. There it goes again. Into 73, no print on 77s yet. So good strength here on EKSO. Keep your eye out on this one. I don't think it's done quite yet, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. Some of the, like you said, small caps giving you the moves here as, again, continuing to watch this SIDU. Came all the way into VWAP, pulls right back in. Is this the break of trend? We just talked about putting on some of those moving averages here. Where did my SIDU go? Okay, it's over here. So yeah, those moving averages coming in and maybe now breaking here as well, back below the 8, looking for this to sustain at the same time here. What's going on? You guys are cracking up.
Commodity Dog, man. It's the chat, Machiavelli. Commodity.
Thank you for the super chat.
There's a seller at 67, and you know what happens when you say those numbers.
Of course. Come on, 67.
Blasphemous around. I love it. I'm sorry. Can I just cover the super chat real quick?
Go for it, yeah.
All right, guys. Every day, 29.78. He's dropping big money in the chat.
I'm really rich.
Shout out. The growth of the studio is looking great. Is it possible? Quick outlook on BW. What are y'all's thoughts? Such a polite way to ask. Thank you very much for that, and thank you very much for the super chat. I just got to digress for a second. Here comes EKSO again, Ram. It wants to take out $12. It's holding the 10 beautifully. I don't think EKSO is done. I won't think it's done until it loses to the 10 quite decisively over here. But we're going to look at BW for every day, 29.78. Oops, that's BQ, my mistake. BW, Babcock and Willox Enterprises on the NYSE. I don't know about this one. This is the daily chart. It looks fantastic. That's a beautiful looking daily chart there. So like I always do, where are we relative to the tariff tantrum lows? We're being a joke? What the actual bad word? So from the tariff tantrum lows to the high that we put in on 11/11, we're up late, 3,125%. 3,128%. From the current price action, we're up 2,421%. So I like what you got to sell over here. Thank you for pointing this one out. This looks fantastic. What the hell does this company do? And Babcock and Willox Enterprises is a provider of renewable, environmental, and thermal technologies for industrial. This is an AI energy play. isn't it?
AI, you say.
Yeah, it doesn't say AI. They're not using it in the name, but I can just read it. Renewable, environmental, and thermal technologies for industrial, electrical utility, municipal, and other customer. Company operates through 3 segments, Babcock and Willock's renewable, environmental, and thermal. Okay. Whatever it is, it looks very good. The technicals are quite sound, but you do have this lower high, lower high, lower high trend ever since that we put in that high. I want to say 11.12. It wasn't 11.11. It was 11.12. But that's okay. This looks like a bull flag. You can see bull flags on the daily as well. Let's use some fibs, say from the breakout area to the top end of the range. Yeah, we're right back at that 2/3. Yeah, 61.8, give or take. But what I'd really like to see is the change of trend. So to me, this is an area high, that big red candle there on the 5th of December. We got to get above $7. We get above $7 here, you break trend. You're clearly breaking trend of the lower highs. So I happen to like BW a lot. This is a really good daily chart and a company I had no knowledge about. What the hell is the market cap of this thing? 668 million. Probably far, far more than it was during the tariff tantrum low. So thank you for pointing that out. This looks really good everyday green. Now, I suggested to you to take it long through 7, but you could also pick it up long at 4. There's a very clear area of support. That's an area high, so $4 could be quite interesting. A little bit lower, I want to say between 375 and 4 maybe, because you do have an area high over here. Other than that, I don't really think I have many other things to say about that. This is it's a good looking name, and the fact that it hasn't given up the ghost right away like a lot of these small cap gappers and penny stocks do is, I don't want to say it's a glowing endorsement, but it does give it more weight. So great look there. KC 520-6. She's dropping another 10 membies in the chat there.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Casey. So Helms, Biff, you got a free one. Sir C, that's me. You got a free one. T Hyde, you got a free one. Michael J. Moss, we got who else? Starchild, 2735. Money Making Man, as well as Nicole Miller. All of you guys, as well as a few more, got all free membies. And now that you guys are members, premium members, of course, of our YouTube stream, make sure to get my morning note every day. It's released in the post section of our YouTube homepage. It covers basically the top stories of the day and gives you the technicals as well. And I wasn't supposed to say anything, but I'm going to say it. The morning note is going to be markedly expanded in the new year. If you are looking for more technicals, we're talking MACD, we're talking RSI, and we're talking some quantitative stuff as well for those market technicians who want to mix quant with TA, like the NOS boss. That's going to be included in the new year on the morning note. It's only going to expand. And the products that are going to be for premium members only going to expand. We're gonna have a weekly earnings note as well for the top earnings names of the week. You won't believe the kind of data and the useful data that are going to be on those weekly earnings notes. So if you're not a premium member now, for $5 a month, get it while it's hot, because I don't think it's going to be $5 a month for much longer anyway. So that's a look there.
Fair. So we talk about the market kind of coming in here, back into the middle of the range here. So I was looking around. Remember, I was like, what's lagging behind? What's lagging behind? But then I was like, okay, well, what's relatively weak as well, right? And Apple was the one that I set my eyes on. So maybe taking a bite out of this flat bottom break here. I know you like those. On Apple, potentially the day low is 272.40. We're coming into there about 4 pennies away from there. I did want to take Tesla, but I was like, don't get too involved. Getting too married to the stock there, trying it multiple times because it made its way all the way back to the high of the range. So like, why should I really fight that? But TQs, we were talking about that. I was like, yeah, the short was here. The short maybe was in the 60s. Oh boy, we made it all the way down to VWAP. So that's a nice little confluence happening there, pulling back in. Let's see if this day low breaks on Apple. We've been holding this day low since obviously since the open, but we've come down into it a couple of times, opening range low, and then once again around 10:30, and then maybe once again around 10:45, held with a bit of a bid. But if the market's going to travel a little bit lower here, then maybe I do want to stay involved with some of these shorts. So let's see if 272.40 breaks down with any sort of distinction. We made a lower high relative to the opening range high. We held VWAP, we reclaimed VWAP, we pulled back in. So maybe that's a little bit more bearish, and we'll have some of those longs running for, maybe, I don't know about running for the fences, but let's try to hit some stops here through 40s. And see if the bid actually does show up, or is this time distinctly different? That's what I'm waiting and watching for here, just positioned in for a potential move as we sell in through the day low. So I get some 39 prints. We got a little bit of a bid here as well. Let's see how far it can get. That's the question that I'm asking. Again, market tailwind would be nice at the same time, but it's Apple, man. Apple kind of it's slow. It's a slow mover. Sometimes it moves like molasses. So you know. You gotta be patient for this one sometimes. There's a little bit of a bid here, 10 pennies right back up, but that's 10 pennies on Apple. Nothing too crazy here. Where is the next trade? That's what I'm watching. A lot of people are still talking about your ESCO, man. I guess ESCO is the place to be when it comes to some of these moves. Even was it? I guess SIDU is coming back in here as well, back into its opening range low. So maybe keeping an eye on that. But the sideways chop, the volume has definitely dropped off, man. That's the thing. Volume has definitely dropped off on this one. So I don't want to chop it up anymore. But got to stay involved with the names in play that are actually doing volume, right? So in terms of relative volume, let's take a quick look at SIDU. SIDU today, Sharif, is doing 0.56, 0.58, so not even 1 times relative volume. So it's not really doing too much. So that's maybe not the best one, but I think ESCO is the one, and we see Sharif getting involved with that pretty decently here. What do you got going on?
It feels like a rounded top forming on the 5 second. I'm going to flatten out here, Obe, which could be a mistake, but it feels like the selling is coming in quite aggressively. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the 5, and it's putting a bit of a downward. There it goes, but right into 12. It defends 12. So oh man, the buyers and sellers, there's an equilibrium now happening, but it did breach that level quite aggressively. Okay, I'm just keeping an eye here on EKSO that had that breakout, a great breakout above the 10 EMA on the 5 and through 12 again. But there's a lot of bamboozlement, man. And right back down into 12. It's losing 12 momentarily there. But it did break trend on the 5 second chart, trying to put in some higher highs, but it's failing to do that. Yeah, I'm going to have to set up a little bit better. That's the problem with these small cap gappers. You can try to get them on a smaller time frame. It's just so micronized on the price action. But there it goes again. So let's see if it's going to hold this trend or what the situation is into the low 12s. But it feels like it's a bit of a downtrend here, at least locally. You give this a little bit more room because it looks great on the 5-minute chart. On the 5 second chart, not so much. It's basically a downtrend ever since touching 1230. It hasn't gotten back into that level. Trying to break above again over here. This is not bad. Let's give this one a little bit of room. I'm going to get back into this one. And there it goes right into, right as I get in, it takes out highs. Okay, good. There it goes again, Obe, into the 30s. We're looking for more now. We're going to wait at 45. 40 showing up. There's 45, and there is 50. Can we get a little bit more? Can we get it's 1270 high. There's 56 again. Go EKSO, you little... And then right back down into 12, dude. It's so intense. The price action will flatten out here, but that's a good scalp. Right into the $2/3 of a dollar there. We got 63s at the high. Sorry, not 63s. We got 55s at the high. Pardon me, not 63s. Dips back down into 12. We take it out, break even, but it's holding trend. So it's a bit of a consolidation now. I'm going to say generally $12 is the area where it's holding. It's not a strict area. It's breached it with the majority of the prints rejecting 30s. But as you saw, we got a great price spike up there into 55s or into 56s, excuse me, but it's still holding 12. So you might be able to get in here. So the worst print that we've had here was 1154.10 on the 5 second chart, the low of which was 1197. I think that is the only print that actually breached 12 since the breakout that we got at 1150.55. I'm talking seconds here because I'm looking at the 5 second chart, mind you. So if you're not following along with the 5-second chart, you're probably wondering what the hell I'm talking about. But that is what I'm looking at on the top screen right there. Still holding 12. So even those prior 2 bars all held 12 clean. Now it's a downtrend though, so I think that 12 could give way here. It's a pretty aggressive downtrend, and there it goes into 96s. Are we going to see more blood? Is this one going to continue to bleed its own blood, as your boy Joey Options likes to say? Nope, right back above 12 it goes, Obe. So the buyers are definitely using 12 as a general area backstop, despite the fact that it does breach it at times. We're going to be looking for that. Today I feel like I'm going to trade. Oh my God, what are you talking about? Ozan, because I got the mustache? Leave me alone, man. Grant Ratcliffe just reads the dictionary and stays inside. That's not me, man. I like to hit the gym and read the dictionary. No, I'm playing. Thank you, Casey. I appreciate that. Yeah, it does reject again on ROG. It is. There's definitely that range. Let me just show you guys what I'm looking at here on the 5-second chart. So this is what I'm always just keeping an eye on the top screen. And this is my sim account, by the way, guys. So, you know, we're not trading sim, but this is my sim because I don't want you guys to see my my user account there. So this is my top screen.
On interactive.
On IB, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is my scanner. That's the what's it called? The Fundamentals Explorer. That's the news, and this is the chart that, you know, if I click like that, it just updates. Okay. So this is what I'm always looking at. This is the 5-second chart, and this is kind of why I say that it was kind of holding that $12 level, but it looks like it's losing that again. I don't know. The 10 EMA is back at 1160, so you could try to pick this up at 1160. I don't know how I feel about this. It's losing it in a hurry here. So EKSO on the 5-second is breaking trend. Where could it find support? Well, there is this area right here at 1180. From about 1145, could hold there, but yeah, that's the problem. Right ever since that 1255 print, it has been lower highs, and yes, you guessed it, more lower highs. CETX just dropped off a cliff, so that's not good. It's I want to say it's
silver. Oh my God!
Go ahead, Obe. Go ahead.
That. Yeah, I'm so entranced with trying to take this Apple breakdown. Oh my God, SLV, man.
790.
This is okay. It's okay. Next trade. Take a look at this flat top break, man. 69.30s, boom, slap.
With higher lows.
Easy 40 pennies. Increasing volume, the highest volume bar on the day. Makes sense. People are short against these highs. People are playing the range, regardless of whether we broke above or broke below. I'm sure that candle would have been nice, nice and large, maybe towering over the opening range as well if we broke the lows, but doesn't matter. Breaking the range high here, we're getting aggressive volume, the largest volume bar on the day, and now 69.91s is the high here through the pre-market highs. So yeah, that $70 level potentially in on the horizon here. As again, I have it on the side of my screen here, but it's all the way to the left, so not really paying too close attention to it when I'm trying to stare down this Apple tape. So a bit of a miss on my part. But what a beautiful hold, man. We held VWAP, we came back in, we held VWAP, and then we started to slowly kind of grind up, and then boom. You don't have to, I mean, I don't want to necessarily get involved all the way around here, but I did like the idea of a potential long in this area where they showed themselves not only in the pre-market, but off of the open as well here on SLV, and then eventually you reclaim VWAP. Sure, I'm saying this in retrospect, right? Before this, I was like, yeah, range, but stepping up. Range break, 69.35s. I think 638s was the pre-market high, 35s was the intraday high, and that gives you a decent 60 pennies almost to the upside right now, pushing into 70. So if your intention today was get involved with the supply area or demand area and take inventory into 70, congratulations. That trade is working out quite well for you, and Apple's working out as well. We'll be right back from Madera.
Thank our friends at Origenics, because concussions demand fast solutions, and NYSE-listed Origenics, or OGEN, is developing one designed to reach the brain quickly and non-invasively. Learn more by scheduling a meeting today. Let's talk here about this pretty range-bound market. Here's the S&P 500, 688 halves, clear resistance. Now, we have made a slightly higher low, at least for now, so maybe potentially trying to do a flat top break here on this market, but only time will tell. But time will also tell for these FOMC minutes. We're going to be getting on December 10th, or the minutes from the December 10th FOMC meeting at 2 p.m. Eastern, just about 2 hours away. Here is this infographic. It's not yet posted on XITTV Research, so you guys are going to get a sneak peek. Wait for it in an hour, but as you will be able to see, we do have an interesting, I guess, chasm in the Fed with 3 Feds voting against, 9 Feds voting for. Again, this is not yet posted, so this is a bit of a sneak preview, but just to prepare you guys for the FOMC meeting, that'll be coming out in about an hour. Tesla has absolutely been on watch without a doubt. It's often on watch, but right now, really volatile trading as traders and analysts alike await the release of these December or Q4 2025 deliveries. We have Baird weighing in, positive analyst note on the stock with a pretty hefty price target. But again, Tesla itself posting the cumulative analyst estimates, not looking too good here for Q4. BA actually relatively strong in a market that has been pretty range bound. Boeing announcing a multi-billion-dollar Pentagon contract, plus a nice little boost in their defense contract as well, DoD contracts. A nice look there for Boeing. TSLA also on watch. We are going to send you over to Neil and his lesson of the day. So guys, get ready. It's going to be maybe some silver. I don't know.
Well, the lesson of the day has to do with silver in another sense, but it's not going to be too stock specific or technically specific. There's a quote that I love, and you're going to see how I'm not in silver right now. And this is one of my favorite quotes, one of my favorite shows of all time. It goes to
You push it with some.
thing is, you only gotta, you know what, once. Be a little slow. Be a little late, just once. How you ain't gonna never be slow, never be late. You can't plan for it-ish like this. It's life. And yeah, it scares me. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know that quote was from Avon Barksdale, who was talking to his cousin and schooling him on the life, where essentially, it's like in the game, and you know the game I'm talking about if you watch The Wire, every single mistake or one single mistake means you're dead, you know, the stakes are high, you're going to jail, whatever it might be. In trading, it's not necessarily those types of stakes, but the biggest moment during a day is one where if you're not on your game, if you're not ready, if you're not sitting at your desk, if you're taking a break, you're going to the bathroom, or if you're in the kitchen cleaning up because someone's got to do it when everyone else is off, you might miss the best opportunity out there. And there's not much you can do about it. You know, like I told everyone, I'm going to try to be on silver. Silver is the thing I was watching this morning. I'm going to buy the dips. I'm going to play the range. No matter what I tried, I wasn't at my desk when this happened. You know what? That's okay. You know, all you can do is do your best. I said I was going to try and buy every dip on trend in silver today, and I missed 2. And unfortunately, like, look at the candles. This one I missed, and this one I missed. Literally the 2 best dip buys all day long. I bought it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I'm buying dips in silver out of 7 potential, and the 2 out of, there's like 7 times I could have been into this stock. And the 2 that I missed were literally the 2 best ones. You can't do anything about it. I can't do anything about it. You know, I can't will myself to go back in time and catch this one, and I wasn't even at my desk, and I can't sit here 24/7. You're going to get up, you're going to go to the bathroom, you're going to do, I happen to be cleaning up the kitchen, still don't even know what I want for lunch. It's going to happen to you. And the last part of he says it's life. Of course it scares you, because in that game, it is your life. When Avon was talking in The Wire, it's like, yeah, you're late, you do what, you screw up. No, you could be dead if you're a drug dealer, but we're not. We're traders. So ultimately, all it means is I missed an opportunity. Maybe it means I take a loss. Maybe it means I miss out on a better entry point. There's lots of things that it could mean, but none of it here is life or death or the end of the world. Where it can turn into that problem is when I sit back down at my desk and I see that missed entry, and then I revenge trade it. Now, what can I do? I could just be like, nope, I'm taking the 70 break on SLV because I should have had it here breaking away off 69, and who cares? Let's just make it a win because I'm going long. That's where the problem would come in. That's where overtrading comes in. That's where FOMO comes in. Sometimes it's just, it feels incredibly, trust me, it feels incredibly unlucky to see 7 entries on a stock, take 5 of them, and the 2 best ones are the ones you didn't have. Like, some of that is going to just be blind bad luck, and there's not much you can do with it. There's not many days in which I would actually get 5 what I think are reasonable entries out of like 7 or 8 or whatever it might be, and don't catch the 2 best ones. Usually, if you've got a lot of good entries in an uptrend, you're gonna get the best moves. That's just how it is. So sometimes there's this kind of bad luck. I call it, it's similar to, and if you're a baseball guy, you'll understand what I'm saying here. It's like a pitcher with bunching. Like you ever watch an ace starter have a really bad day when his stuff was still the same? Well, he pitches 7 innings and he only gave up 6 or 7 hits, which is pretty good. They just all happen to be in a cluster with each other. And sometimes that's how the distribution works. You give up 6 or 7 hits in 7 innings, an ace and he strikes out 10, he's probably gonna give up 1 run, maybe 2 runs. But you might give up 4 or 5 if all those hits happen to be stacked together, and sometimes it's just blind luck. So when blind luck or bad luck happens to you, the best thing you can do is not to overreact to it. Don't revenge trade. I'm just using this as an example. I was gonna talk about something else, but like maybe stock related, specifically from a trend strategy. But you know, this is gonna happen. It happened once, it happened twice, it'll happen to me tomorrow or whenever the heck it happens the next time. I just can't chase the move. I have to try to find a patient entry. You know, I can get rid of my trend lines from earlier. Maybe it gives me a pullback into the prior high. Maybe it gives me a play into VWAP. There just needs to be something for an actual trade to come in because sometimes you're just gonna miss one. Like I said, I can't sit on my desk all day long. I do have to get up to go to the bathroom. I have to go grab a lunch. In this case, I was actually loading the dishwasher. I can't make this one up. And you will miss trades. It's gonna happen, and you're gonna take losses. It's gonna happen. Just don't revenge trade it. Understand that this game ain't no life and death. But what you can do, but you can exacerbate these types of things by revenge trading. Like the worst thing I could do, and of course, as I say that, I'm not going to revenge trade and take a 70 break. Well, that would have worked out anyway. So, you know, silver on the move. What's hilarious about this, I'm going to throw it back to the guys. It's not hilarious, but silver attempting to gap fill all the way. Wouldn't that be impressive if everyone was freaked out about yesterday and then SLV eliminates the entire gap down that we had overnight a couple of nights ago? Impressive rally. They tried to shake us out. It hasn't happened just yet. Love the move here, but I wish I was involved. Can't do anything about the fact that I'm not. That's your lesson of the day. Don't FOMO it just because you missed the one. All you can do is do your best.
China.
Sorry
about that, Fabian. All right, guys, there's a couple of small cap gappers that are making the move here midday. There's also a lot of small cap gappers that are crapping. Well, we used to call them small cap crappers for a reason, right? And a lot of them are. GLSI, done. AEHL, done. There's a lot that I've taken off here as well. AISP, done. But there's some new ones that I've brought on here. Shout out to the OG Bovin. DAIC, not my favorite because it's south of $1, but it's got a gnarly looking chart pattern and it's a midday popper, 11:30. Started getting the volume there. I want to say 435,000 shares. The big boy volume didn't come though until 11:40. This one's got 3.3 million, and at the highs there at 12 o'clock, this thing's got 9 million shares. So it's a 74 penny high as we work up close maybe to that dollar, up 80% now into 71.5 pennies a go. So DAIC in focus, but another Bovin special here, MENS, men's. This one's spready, but very I don't want to say trend predictable, that's not it, but holding trend, that's probably the better way to describe it. 38% under this one's wings with a 388 high, it's showing 84 at the moment. There's only been 2 areas where it breached the 10 EMA on the 5 ever since kind of getting above it at 1035, and that was that double bottom there, 1140, 1145. The money fill was in between the 10 and the 20. Doesn't mean that you're going to get that on every drop. I'd be building my position into the 10 EMA, and I'd be putting my stop below the 20 EMA with likely a money fill dip trade in between the 10 and the 20 to catch, yes, of course, those money fills. So let's see if this one can work its way up into 4. So for me, the focus is going to be EKSO still in play, even though it's dropping off into that $11 area. Could be still in play here because it's above that breakout level at 11. That's 1. 2, DAIC, as I mentioned, RDW. Bull flagging. I perceive this to be a bull flag with a breakout area at 1035, and we're getting a consolidation area here, component of the bull flag with higher lows, mind you, and essentially a flat top break looking here at 804, 805. It's had trouble, of course, holding above 8, as you can see, but certainly in play RDW. And then last but not least, I said men's. That will be in play for me. So 4 names continuing to be in play: Midday, EKSO, RDW, DAIC, and MENS. AISP looks like hot garbage. AEHL looks like worse hot garbage. And SIDU, I mean, this is a perfect short here, Obe. So when I did short these small cap gappers, which was a very short period of time, it was early in 23 when we didn't have continuation on the long, so I was forced into the short on the small cap gappers. My rule was exactly the opposite as my rules going long. If I wanted to short a small cap gapper, I was getting short below the volume weighted average price. I would never get short above the volume weighted average. I know it doesn't fit your profile because you mean revert, and that's a different kind of stencil of checklists there that you go through. No, but I wanted to pull
all the time as well. It's just like, yeah, a lot of
it comes from RC mostly.
From okay, yeah. So yeah, no, even I hear it as like an antidote or like just a remedy for even like advanced traders. Is just like, okay, well, if you're taking hits on positions, like if you just have a rule that you don't short above and you don't long below, that can kind of smooth that P&L curve over time, and maybe you're not taking those unnecessary hits where you're trying to fight something that shows you that, okay, buyers are in charge, or sellers are in charge, or whatever like that. But yeah, no, I respect that rule every now and then. The only time where I don't respect it is if it's overextended off of it.
Well said.
Or there's different definitions of overextension, like relative overextension. So in that case, maybe VWAP doesn't mean much. It's like it also, like, the story matters as well. Like, where are we coming from?
Well, sure.
Right? If we dropped all the way, let's say we dropped like 10%, and then we get all the way up to VWAP, and then we get a little bit above VWAP. If I think it's still overextended relative to where we came from, I don't care that it's above VWAP, right? But yeah, but for sure, if you follow that rule, I do definitely respect that a lot. And then yeah,
SIDU did that.
SIDU is below.
It did, and it came
VWAP,
up to it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
I thought about getting back in the 80s, but
right,
I just didn't.
I
didn't really take it there. I was just like, this might go a little higher, but.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
Market's coming
EKSO, sorry?
I said market's coming in beautiful.
I love that.
The Apple short, man. I'm in the Apple short, so that's working in. I did get aggressive, but I covered way too much, like always, in the 40s here. But yeah, we'll see if we can get down to the whole 272s if the market comes back to its range lows here.
I want to mention this, otherwise Fabian will disown me. Guys, get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day, guys. That's the only way we know what to cover on the afternoon rundown. If you want to see a detailed look, refresh. No problem, brother. I just did it right now. We'll go morning routine. We'll go stock visualizer. We'll go refresh. I think that's live, right? Rare.
We're doing it live.
Number 1, RARE. And then you got EKSO with 74, ASTIS, ASTS got 64. Your boy Tesla there has 41. Silver, as well as it should be, up with 55 votes. Intel, by the way, 3% in the Ville of Green, has got 40 votes. Today, Tesla's 41. You got to throw in the $sign, though, before the ticker of your choice. That's the only way it's going to register. What the hell is this rare?
What the hell?
What the hell?
Yeah, dude, someone pointed out this morning, it's pretty solid. No, it's not a buyout. It's a biotech, which missed on its primary endpoints. Yesterday, gap down, pretty much did a bit of a move, had a range. And today, that push that you're seeing in the morning is the range breakout push. So take a look at prior day, right? Was doing thousands of times relative volume. So yeah, it got slapped. That's fine.
Yeah,
sorry for the longs, but again, intraday traders, you're getting involved yesterday for sure.
Yeah.
And look at the break of prior day's range.
Yeah.
Look at prior day's high, and
All the
see
way
what
up
that
here.
price is. No, that's not prior day's high. I'm talking about, like, this is where we started trading, right?
Yes.
So this high right here,
That high.
and look at the breakout of that high coming into today,
you're
just
talking
a
about-
daily breakout.
Fair.
And then boom, just straight.
Unreal.
And then now it's obviously, volume's kind of dead, not really doing
It's
too much,
straddling
consolidating.
VWAP here. I feel like the buyer that wanted to accumulate this because they looked at it as
I mean,
a
people are
discount.
priced short. People are priced short, expecting that endpoint to miss. There's people in biotechs that go both ways, and for the swings as well.
Yeah.
They're just like, maybe they know the science, and they're like, yeah, this is very likely to fail, right? Because they're just like, for whatever reason, right?
Sure.
They're sitting short on this. Maybe they cover day one, they cover day two, because that's where you're going to find the liquidity to cover. You're not going to cover on a day where you're doing crumble.
Well,
right?
exactly.
You need high volume to be like, okay, this is my counterparty. I'm gonna cover into this. So.
Oh, I want to cover one. Afrojack, AFJK. The OG Bovin, bringing this to my attention. Afrojack, AFJK. It's not Afrojack, obviously, but you know that I'm going to give these tickers little names.
Samurai Jack.
I don't even know how to say
Great
this.
show.
IMEI Health, AIMEI. IMEI Health, whatever, bro. It's a $459 million market cap. It is halted up. Oh, look at this monster move. Like, there's not a lot of volume here, though, guys. We've only done 222,000 shares on the day. But the prior bar high is $64. The current all level is 75. What the helly, brother? But we're going to have to put this on here, even though it suffers from a lack of liquidity. You can't have price action like that without getting some respect. So AFJK, what does this company do, bro? Blank check company, so it's a SPAC.
Ooh.
Oh, it's a SPAC. What the hell? Okay, so there's gonna have, it's gotta have a headline here. I'm not seeing anything on this, man. I'm speculous. It is,
okay.
Yeah, I don't see anything on here. The 24th, I saw some stuff coming in on the 24th. They're all momentum indicators. I have no idea. I'm gonna have to do more research on this one to see what company it wants to de-SPAC with. But AFJK, here's the daily. So it's had this momentum before, and you can see, did it de-SPAC? It doesn't say de-SPACed. It says it's a blank check company. So I don't know why this is running. It started running, though. It started having outsized days early November. You can see it straddles 10. Well, that's what SPACs do, right? And then it started moving here in November, had a bit of a hiatus until, again, the middle of or early mid-December, specifically the 9th. Actually, the 8th had a big day. The 9th, it ended up closing at a high. This thing went to $110. What I see here are higher lows. So somebody knows something. I'm going to have to do more research on this online. But yeah, higher lows. You're not necessarily getting higher highs, but the daily is showing higher lows here on AFJK. Halted at 75.11. Let's pull this up on a trading screen so we can give you the information about when to expect this thing to open up, et cetera, et cetera. So pull this up, AFJK on the NQ. All right, top 77, halt price, as I mentioned, 75.11. So we're already slated to open up. Halt time, 12:14:44. It is 19 now. So if it's going to be a 5-minute halt, it will open up in exactly 8 seconds here. 36, 7. It's going to open up at 44 if it is a 5-minute halt. Otherwise, it'll be a 10-minute halt or 15. Here we go. It's open. Moving down now. The top was showing 73.95. Let's see what this one has to offer. 75.11 high of day. I'm seeing 11 still on the ask, not on the bid. This thing's got a $3 spread, $5 spread. I ain't touching this thing, okay? Limit down, 66.56. Limit down is 66.56. We're showing 65.62. Now we're triggering the limit down. It's got to stay this way at 66.56. It's not staying there, so it doesn't look like we're going to limit down quite yet. Or are we? Now it's 65.11 now, the limit down, so it's adjusted. Those red rectangles on my level 2, the right side will be limit up, the left side will be limit down. So LULD, that's what it stands for, limit up, limit down anyway. It holds the 10 EMA on the 5 like a glove, which was basically 66 1/3. It dips into that 66 1/3, pops up back into 70. So it technically holds the moving averages, but yeah, this is way too rich, way too crazy for my blood. If anybody's trading this, I'll continue to cover it, but to me, it's a no-go. Hard to manage risk on something like this. TT Mass, watch for KIIU, another SPAC. That's IPO today. Let me have a look.
Ooh, hello.
K. Now you got Obi's attention. I don't see it, brother. KIIU. Tag me again, because that's not coming up on my system. Tag me again, TT Mass. F-bomb. F-bombs 190. My man. Ticker was UCFI from earlier this year for me. Okay, so he's talking about Afrojack, I'm assuming, right? UCFI. Let me type that one in. CN Health Foods Tech Group. Yeah, and that one's not showing up anymore. The last print that I had there was the 29th. That was
open
yesterday.
already?
No, that's a different one. This is an IPO. This looks like an IPO. UCFI. Okay, let's load this up.
Let me pull that up.
Yeah, let's load this up on the last screen over here. Is that my last screen? Yeah. UCFI.
Ooh, okay.
Are you getting information
that
on
was
that?
yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday, dude. So
it was an IPO from yesterday,
Was
right?
it an IPO from yesterday? Damn, I don't
know.
Okay, I mean, you had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
No, it was the one I got burned on, he says, okay?
So let's see. I mean, decent move yesterday. CN Healthy Food, healthy move to the upside, healthy move right back down, holding $5. So I like that. Let's see. It's not going to have relative volume, right? Because let's take a quick look at some of the news here as well. Trade halt. That's great. Thank you. No right away. Okay, you know what? Let me just go to Nasdaq.
Oh, he says it was earlier this year. You missed my first comment. Sorry, F-bomb. Yeah, I apologize about that.
So IPO listings right here. Let's see, what is 1223? So we had a couple of them, and these are SPACs for sure. $10 base on this here. FJet was the last one right here. Nothing too crazy. 150, 100, 200 million here on some of these SPACs. Got to go in and check. I remember the SPAC days, man. I think
COVID days. Remember that?
Those SPAC trades were probably some of the easiest trades ever, man. It's absolutely jokes. Well, do we get a throw to Adara? Okay, cool. Yep. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hear about that Afrojack, Stream is calling it that IMA Health. I looked into this, and there has not been an update on this business combination, as far as I can tell, since June 20th of 2024. Now, at that point, it had been announced that IMA Health was going to be combining with United Hydrogen Group, which is a hydrogen solution company based in China. Now, that's now been almost a year and a half. I have not seen any business combination updates since, but I did want to provide you guys with an update. Since you said you were curious, that is all I can find here.
Appreciate it, of course. All right, we're in men's. Men's is looking good here, Bovin. I got in at, 78. The first beak wetter is 85. It's already showing me 85s, but it's not crossing. It's a 2-penny spread here on MENS. There's 85 again, and there it goes up into 88. And I'm waiting at 88. It's showing me 90. Boom! Oh, into the high we go on MENS. Now we're posting at 95. And now we're going to post at 99s as well for the defend. Sorry, Fabian? Sorry, brother? Absolutely, of course. Now we're posting up at 95s. It's showing me 93s, and I'm going to put 99s, of course, to take a possible rejection of the whole dollar. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on there. We want. Shut up, we want, brother. I can't control what the name of the stock is.
I was just like, wait, what did you say? Hey.
All right, Fabian, am I doing it now? Okay, give me 1/2 second over here. As we load it, we're good to go. Guys, trade the pool. For too long, trading meant risking your own money, Obi, or not having enough to start. The fear of losing, it held so many traders back and on the sidelines. But thankfully, that's all changing with Trade the Pool. They're transforming how traders access the markets with its limited risk trading model. Traders use funded capital, while Trade the Pool, well, they absorb all the downside. It allows traders to focus on what truly matters. Guys, we're talking about the discipline, the consistency, and of course, that growth. What would be this, the growth? When you hit the profit target, you keep up to 70% of the profits. There is no fear. There are no barriers. There is just real opportunity. This here is the revolution of limited risk trading, and it is powered by the good folks at Trade the Pool. So you need to visit them, tradethepool.com, or scan that QR code on the bottom right of the screen to get 10% off your first eval. All right, we've got 3 beak wetters here, profit takers on MENS, but it is coming back down into the 80s, so I've got a decision to make. Shut up, Obe.
He spells it out now.
I'm waiting. I'm going to wait at 75s for another entry. Look, MENS, I'm just going to call it MENS. Now I've got post-traumatic stress disorder over here from this.
Oh boy.
And here comes into 76. We're going to add here. I'm going to put the money fills. Let's see if we can get some money fills, man, at 73s. Let's see if we can get that. Into 72 it goes. Doesn't quite give me the money fill there. Now, what I'm looking for is for trend to hold. It has good support at the 10 EMA on the 5, but that doesn't mean it's going to last forever. So let's see if we can get some more here and then ride this one back up through 4. So there is certainly selling at $3.95 into that $4 area. We know that, but I'm hoping we can pick up some at a more advantageous level over here and then ride the trend back through 4, if not even higher. That's one trade I want to talk about. DIAC, another above and special. Do I have this on another screen? I just want to make sure. I don't want to repeat screens. No. Okay, good. So we're going to put DIAC on the NQ, I believe. Nope, wrong. If this is on the Amex, oh no, the dreaded DAIC. I just typed it in wrong. DAIC on the NQ. Yay, nice. It's not in the Amex. Did I get the fill? Yes, I did on MENS. Okay, so I just have to digress for a second while I set up profit takers and stop losses on MENS, because we did get that fill. And now we're going to post. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to have to give myself the stop loss here. I just have to assess where I want to get stopped out. All right, good. So we're going to go just like that. And then we're going to let this one bleed its own blood. There we go. Good look, good look. Now let's go back to DAIC. This is very strong, 76.31 high, coming back down into 69. I want to say the volume weighted average price is showing me 65. I could certainly be a buyer at 65. It's generally respected that level, but if it gives up that volume weighted average price, given that it's a penny stock, I'm no longer going to be interested. So going to focus here on MENS, having added more, and DAIC. I won't trade Afrojack. It's too crazy. It's too spready. And I think it is halted down. If I'm not mistaken, is AFJK halted down? AFJK? No, it's not. It's still trading. It's just not moving. So I guess that's kind of the problem there. All right. Oh, what do you got?
Nothing much, man. I'm just looking at lunch here. How are you going to charge $4 for a dipping sauce? Come on, man.
That's crazy time.
Don't do that. I'm not buying from you. That's wild. Good. Absolutely wild. But yeah, no, it's. I was just looking at some lunch while I'm looking at some of these missed trades on silver. And maybe some more missed trades on SIDU.
The do.
That's coming in. Yeah, exactly. Is there a Mr. Trade? Is what Fabian is asking, and I don't know. I'm trying to be the Mr. Trade, but it's not really working out right now. But we'll see. Where's the next trade? That's again.
Would you be attracted to a girl more if her last name was Trade or Trades?
No,
because I thought you wanted to be Mr. Trade.
Yeah, maybe.
You could take her last name.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I was gonna say that, yeah, because then he'd have to take her last name. Things get weird, and then if she takes his last name, then she's not Mrs. Trade anymore.
Yeah, but there's people in England that are taking their wives' last.
I have no issue with that. I'm just saying the logic of this could get complicated.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that. I mean, the English are kind of interesting. Let's just keep it at that. You know.
What are we talking?
By the way, take a look at this cup. This is probably one of my favorite non-trading related cups. In the back. Look at that, beautiful. Nice little bearish cup.
Get your claws off my coffee. I like that.
And there's a nice little bear in there too. Yeah, I like that. I like the bear. And it's red, my favorite color. So, you know, I like that.
My man.
Let's see.
Red is your favorite color, eh?
Yes.
Is it for real?
Yeah, for real.
Is it because you're the reversion thing, or is it generally?
No, it's always been my favorite color. As you know, any vehicle that is red automatically has like plus 15 horsepower.
Yes, it does.
Come on.
And insurance. Is that a wives' tale, an old wives' tale, or are cars that are red have higher insurance? That's what I've always heard.
Yes, I think that's what I've heard.
Can I hear you, Fabian?
Yeah, I can hear him now better.
From what I
But,
understand,
yeah, no,
it's the
I
most
think
common color car is what gets
depending
the
on
highest
what
premium.
car, I mean, I can look it up how true that is. But I have heard that if you have a red car, the insurances may be higher. But maybe that's just like a rumor to keep people from getting red cars. So the people who actually like the red cars have, you know, they can kind of maintain that, you know, not everybody has a red car. I mean, my motorcycle's red. It definitely goes a little bit faster because of that.
Forgot you had a motorcycle,
Yeah.
dude.
I mean, it's been sitting around for a couple of years, but
Can I ask you a question?
yes, what's up?
Were your parents, did your parents give you any grief when you got the bike?
Oh, absolutely not. My dad went with me to get a motorcycle license. He's just like, we're gonna save on insurance. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Because I was like, what? I was 21. Or I was either 21 or 20. It was first year of undergrad. The decision was I'd saved up a little bit of money, and I was like, do I buy a car or take in? If I knew what I knew now, I would probably not purchased any vehicle.
Yeah, fair.
But I knew nothing of the markets. And now imagine buying some Apple or some you know, any of the market leaders. Regardless, whatever. I'd saved up for a car, and I was just like, okay, what car should I get? I wanted to get like a 92 Skyline, R32 Skyline. And I was thinking about it, and they weren't crazy prices back then. It was manageable.
Okay.
I thought about it, but my buddy was like, yo, you got to get a motorcycle. It's going to change your life, which it definitely did. No regrets there. My dad was very supportive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's rode bikes all his life, and he was just like, make sure you don't drive like an idiot. Make sure you drive extremely defensively. And he trusted me with the car as well. Like not a horrible track record when it comes to driving, and it definitely builds on spatial awareness as well.
I bet.
Right?
You got
so it's just like there's so many people on the road that you definitely want to avoid. And when you've been trained on the streets of the GTA, I think that you gain a little bit of that perception. But
don't get me started. And you've got to learn a lot, because the drivers, they're the best in the world. The streets, there are none better. There are no holes. There are no ditches. There's nothing that you need to concern yourself about, especially as a biker. You're not gonna fall into a ditch and go head
gotta
first.
be
There's
so
nothing
much
like
so
that
aware.
around here, Obi. Don't give them the wrong idea.
Yo,
We're
one
trying to
time,
big up
so
our city.
my worst almost accident was on Highway 7, where they do the 4-lane, right? So it's 4 lanes, 3 or 4 lanes on both sides, and I was taking a left turn. Mid-turn, I see that there's oil on the road. I feel the rear tire slip out behind me. I don't know how I saved myself. Just straight reaction, kind of just like whipped it back in, back on top. But like I almost I could feel my right peg scratched the ground. And I was just like, oh boy, yeah, So that was a little bit of a sweat, but saved myself from that one. I only dropped my bike twice, and that was during the motorcycle, like the test, the course that you take. So it was their bike,
Yeah,
and
that's
that was the
their
first time I had ever touched a bike. So I'm like, better here than my own, right?
Where'd you do it? Beaches?
No. I think
'Cause they have one there.
yeah, they have one there. I forget who I did it with, but it was nearby my house. Because they do it at Markville now.
Okay.
In the Markville parking lot.
Makes sense.
Actually, no, you're right. I did come down. No, you're right. Because I've taken. In
front of Woodbine, the gambling place where they bet on the ponies. It's right there.
It's
literally right there, Woodbine Beach.
So that is you're right. That is where I did my first one there. It's you know what? If you're safe and you live in an area where traffic is not that bad.
Yeah.
I would definitely strongly encourage that riding a motorcycle will definitely change your life.
I bet. Oh, just gonna get some stuff over here. First of all, men's, I'm involved in this one. I got $0.75. The best print we have is up into 93s. High of the day is 95s. It's still above the 10 EMA on the 5, but it's been dropping down here. Lower high, lower high, lower high, and 3 candles in a row. This candle, it's a candle of, well, the prior candle is a candle of indecision. This candle barely has any body or wick because the price hasn't really done anything. I've got 75s, 81 on the bid, 79 now, 83 on the bid, 79. Jeez Louise, 83 on the ask, 79 on the bid. I'm looking for a retest of 4. I'm trying to pack my patience. I have 75 ons with a 72 add. Let's see what this one has to offer. HYMC, give me a sec. Yannick telling me HYMC. Trying to see what that one is up to on the one. Yeah, it's a great one there. Okay, so we're going to take off SIDU, HYMC. We'll put that on. Thank you, Yannick. I just want to cover some of the chat there. Tam Panda, I love when you go on a little sarcastic rant. I love your name, brother. I love the band Tam Panda as well. Fans, I think aren't they Australian? Pretty sure. Anyway, I like some of their stuff. Yannick saying HYMC. Yep, got that. Nick Diaz, Obi, share a picture of the bike. Oh, people want to see the bike. Oh,
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get that ready for you, brother. Grant Ratcliffe, pretending phone, he can type without looking. No, I was actually typing back to Tam Panda because he's like a sarcastic rant, blah, blah. And I was about to say, I love your name or the band that you're named at your namesake there. But then I'm just like, I'll just tell him online or on the air. So yeah, it wasn't fake typing, I promise you guys. All right, now 89 on the ask, 79 on the bid. So the spreads opened up to the 10 pennies here. I don't know what to make of this. I'm thinking about flattening out here. I don't like the chart pattern, but it's keeping me in the trade because we're still holding trend. That trend, of course, is the fact that it's holding above the 10 moving average, exponential moving average on the 5. So that's what I wanted to mention. Here is the look, though, on HYMC, the one that the OG Yannick just called out there. Geez Louise, that's a buy program. Uninterrupted to the high side. It's not a big, but it seems to be a predictable stair step up. What is this thing up on the day? HYMC, 6 2/3, 24.90. Possibly into 25. Good look there, Yannick. Also, I wanted to mention EKSO. EKSO could be reawakening over here. Clean. Oh, wow. That's the candle. That's the money fill candle. Comes back, tests the breakout level, holds it generally, holds 10.75. Now you're $1 in the money if you picked up that area low. It is still putting in lower highs. So if you're looking at each area high, it's still lower high, but certainly holding prior areas of support. I also want to mention Afrojack, AFJK. A beautiful, clean bounce off that volume weighted average price right around $60, pops up to 71. If you can stomach that kind of price action and the $3, $4, $5 spread that this one has, all the power to you. I'll continue to comment on it, though. For those who want to trade it, DAIC dropped off a cliff. It lost the volume weighted average price. It lost the 10 EMA. Seems to have held right at the 20. Not something that I want to involve myself in until and if there is a marked trend change, up 58.5%, but not really looking like it's in its prime at the moment. RDW, I'll continue to watch this one as it's still trading at near highs, 788s. I'd be picking this up, I want to say 75 to 80. Because I perceive that to be a bit of a buy zone there. So we'll see what that one has to offer us. AEHL, I don't know why I didn't take that hot garbage off the screen earlier. AISP is also hot garbage. Nothing for me to do or say with those bad boys. So I'm going to continue to watch here as MENS continues to hold the 10 EMA on the 5. No new prints for me, though. No new prints. No new prints. We'll see if we can get up into that 91. I think I'll take a beak wetter at 88 just because it is worrying me a little bit over here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just sending some of these pictures. These are old pictures, but these are all the ones I have. It's funny enough. I have one with me and my buddy sitting on the back as well. I'm sure the chat's gonna have a blast with that one. But yeah, there's some beautiful pictures I have here of the bike. So we can go through them. I love my bike very, very much. Yeah, okay, cool.
I've known you, I think, it's going to be going on 4 years in the summer. And yeah. I didn't even know you rode a bike. And I don't like that.
Why is that? I mean, I guess I've never pulled up in it.
You ride a bike. I don't like the fact that I didn't know that you.
Fair enough.
What is that, bro? It's a Ninja.
It's a Ninja ZX6R. Oh, don't do that. One second. Just give me.
What's the CC on that thing?
On paper, $599.
On paper. Oh no, it's been modded.
Of course. What do you mean?
Of course, it's been modded.
You know, just throwing in a little air filter will definitely give you a little bit of that there. So
really?
So this is right here. I love this backpack right here. This was my spiky backpack that I wore. So this is kind of like the back view right there.
Zoom in.
This is my bike right here. Here you go.
There you go.
Right there. So that right there, she is an absolute beauty. I got the Akrapovic rear tail, undertail exhaust. Beautiful, because now a lot of days the exhaust come on the side, and I don't like that. This is such a cleaner look for a motorcycle where, right here. So the exhaust comes in right back there. So this is kind of up on the stands in my garage. This is an old picture. There's the bag once again here as well. But yeah, red and black.
So sick.
So yeah, a ZX6R, absolutely beautiful. I'm definitely, like I said, I like my JDMs. Kawasaki makes some great quality bikes here. It seems like silver is also coming back through 70. Got to keep eyes on that one while we're doing this. But yeah, no, this is probably my favorite. This is probably my favorite picture of the bike. Like the way it's. I think my buddy took it with his camera. Like he's a fancy camera. But yeah, no, this is probably one of my favorite pictures of the bike. Absolutely beautiful. So.
It's beautiful, brother. I love it. I love it. I think it's so sick.
I gotta ride again. And this snow, you can't ride in the snow. This is why I'm just like I gotta.
You ride it here?
Yeah. What do you mean? It's in my garage,
bro. I have no idea. Like
not in the winter time.
Not
in the winter
obviously,
time,
but
yeah.
I don't only see you in the winter, right?
Yeah,
So
no, that's fair.
I'm just.
Oh, you mean ride it to the office? Yeah. No, I've never done that.
You never rid it to the
No,
office.
no,
Yeah, I've never seen you bring in a
that.
motorcycle helmet.
I would
Like
never
I
do
would
that.
realize that.
Yeah,
You know, I'd see you walking out with the helmet. And
I don't like driving into work for trading either because, dude, I'm telling you, I have run the stats. Trading definitely takes a hit when I'm driving in.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Why? Because of the.
It's just I want to make the least amount of decisions in the morning. Right? In the morning, I prep everything the night before. Like, okay, what I'm gonna wear, where my shoes are, everything. My backpack's ready to go. Like in the morning, I just want to roll out, throw stuff on, and maybe just check the market on the So here's the thing. Another reason why I don't like driving in is because sure I'll do a scan at night, but I want to do a market prep in the morning as well. If I'm driving in, I'm too busy. Like I'm not gonna do that in the car while driving. Right?
Yeah,
Let's just wait until self-driving cars become a little bit more popular, and then we can do that. But yeah, no, just on the bus, I get an hour to check out the market. See what stocks are in play. What am I going to do? Check out some levels, any sort of news, anything like that. So that's so much more value than like driving in, making decisions, dealing with the drivers, dealing with the traffic in the morning. Anyways, we'll be right back from Adara.
More year-end market posts here on X at TTV Research. I have been posting arguably too many of these. If you have any ideas, anything you'd like to see, just tag me here in our chat. But in the meantime, I want to let you guys know I'm finishing off this series for the year. Trump's Truth Social posts about public companies. There is one here on GM and Ford saying that apparently the CEOs of these companies called him to thank him for his tariffs on trucks. Then we also had Trump posting about Jensen Huang, or rather an article that was almost a month old at the time. So interesting look here. Again, this will be on X at TTV Research. And there are 2 more posts in this series that have yet to come. I'm going to be rolling them out over the next few days to end off that year. Tons of year-end posts here on X at TTV Research. Please don't hesitate to check it out. Make sure to like and subscribe to this show as well if you're enjoying the content. But back to you two.
Be part of the cleanup.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. Obi is talking to me about SIDU, guys. Interesting breakdown there.
Yep.
It's clean. It's very clean. Shout out to Ob. He'll cover that in a second. I just want to keep an eye here on HYMC. Shout out to the OG Yannick for pointing that one out. So let's load up. By the way, I stopped out of my men's trade for a break-even trade there on the remaining amount, but HYMC is the one I want to cover here. What's the look on this? 5 penny spread, I can stomach that. Now, 24.50, an interesting area for me. There were a couple of topping till candle rejections into the $0.50. So that's price action resistance. And now let's see if it's support. Also, the 10 EMA on the 5, also showing the $0.50. Alas, it's a little bit below it now with 48 showing up on the bid. So I want to see if this is an interesting one to get in, but I don't want to be quick to jump in just because it pulled into the 10 EMA. I need to see a little bit of proof. Now, I did see proof earlier on that it was riding the trend of the 10 EMA. So it had that magnetic effect, sort of. All the pullbacks bounce off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. I want to see a little bit more here, especially if we're going to trend back into 25. That gives me a little bit of room. So we'll see what we get there. Zion, Lala, Sharif, Obi. What's Obi short for? The people want to know what's Obi short for.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan freaking Kenobi.
Yes.
Look, guys.
Come on.
Obi is one of those guys. He's not going to reveal too much. He's not going to tell you about the secret sauce. You're not going to know too much about his life. Only what, the little pieces of information that he'll allow.
I'm here to trade.
Exactly.
Who's behind the keyboard? Why does that matter?
I love it, brother. That's been you for a minute, so it's nothing new to me. Thoughts on EKSO? Continuing to watch Zion because it's
Obadiah. That's funny. Nice.
Zion, he's asking about EKSO, and it's still putting in lower highs, Zion. So that's my first observation there. The second observation is it's got support at 11, but I haven't seen enough higher lows on the 5-minute candle to say, yeah, I feel like we're changing trend over here. So I'm staying clear of EKSO for the moment. If I like what I see, I'm going to jump in, but at the moment, I don't like what I see. DAIC's reawakening from the dead. Where's that one at? Show yourself. It's not there. Let's put it on. DAIC on the NQ. It lost VWAP quite aggressively. Now it's gotten right back above it. I could be an interested buyer above 70 pennies. But until and if that 70 pennies comes in, I'm going to steer clear. MENS, MENS, double bottom into 360. There's a buyer at 60 here, both on the prior candle and on the current candle. That's one side of the equation. The other side is we've been putting lower highs ever since that 395 pop. And it's been lower high on every successive 5-minute candle since that time. So I don't want to be jumping into that one super quick either.
So, okay, I was going to type this out in the chat, but Coggy Vids in the chat saying, bike guys, they like to take a stab at each other. They're like, oh, what about my leader bikes? Here's the thing, man. Leader bike is 1,000 cc's. So it's like it goes. So I started off on a 250, and then I don't think they make too many 250s anymore. The base is like 300. 300s look pretty awesome as well. Here's the two things, Coggy Vids. Good luck outrunning a 300 on the track, because there's a video of a 250 outrunning 600s and leader bikes in the corners. Of course, on the straight you're going to get above, but this guy has so much like pure skill, right, on the turns. So that's always stood out to me. And another thing, dude, when I'm driving around in the city, if I have a leader bike, I'm not getting out of second gear. Like, good luck getting out of first. I want to run through the whole bands. Like, I want to run through all the bands, right? That's why even on a 6, like, yeah, you get up on a 600, you can get up to 6th gear, but like I had trouble like just driving around getting up to like 4th gear. I want to enjoy the bike.
For sure, bro.
You know what I mean? Yes, you want to have a little bit of speed. 250s a little, you definitely feel the lack of power in a 250 eventually. But in terms of skill, like riding skill, like taking turns and stuff like that, like, dude, a 250 is so much more forgiving, and you can really work your skills on a lower CC bike. And the guys that really have the skills, dude, they will smoke you on the track.
I bet.
Right? But that's my thing. Yeah, exactly. I love. Now we're talking about bikes. I love so the version I have is the 600 from 07. So the 07, 08s were made for the track. It literally has a lap timer on it, and it was a high rev bike. So the red line starts at like, I think it was like 16K. So the red line starts at like a crazy amount.
What?
Yeah, so like I'm not redlining to like 14 to 16. Right? So that's the beautiful thing. I think I can do like 120 to 130, that's kilometers per hour, in first gear if I wanted
That's insane, bro.
Right? Sure, she's screaming.
Yeah.
But like I don't necessarily want to push that. But like at the same time, it's just like I wanna be able to enjoy all of the gears. On a leader bike in the city, good luck doing that, dude. On the track, yes, 100%.
407, you probably have, you can open up there, but there's cops all over there.
You know.
And you live in Markham. Look at his face. I exposed something there.
Yeah.
That is like one of the only paid highways we have in the entire
So here's the thing.
right?
All I'm going to say
there's
about
not too many people on it.
All I'm going to say about the 407 is there are times at night where it is absolutely dead. Not a single soul on the road. No cops, no cars, and if you want to put some risk on the line at that time, go for it.
Oh, you put risk on. I like that. Yeah, the risk.
I mean,
is
if you can
contextual.
manage the risk, then it's fine. It's just, Yeah. So Fabian's saying he's gone. He's gone.
They can hear it.
Okay. Okay, so he said that going on the 407, he's gone 140 and then passed by a cop. I think 140 is kind of the average, even though the posted limit is 100.
Yeah,
everyone pulls like 120 minminimum, 130. We
Cars
definitely
are doing that,
need to OBB Midnight Club and nice.
It's true.
No, dude, you.
It's true.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers. Is that in your truck?
Hold on, let me see that, Ram.
She's showing.
This girl's 200 kilometers.
No, not even. That's sub
bro.
200, dude.
Sub 200 by 7, bro.
Yo,
it's 200.
so here's the thing. When I did clock my all-time best, let's say, for speed, I wasn't looking down.
Can we know what it is?
I don't have time. No, I didn't have time to look down at the meter because everything was whizzing by so fast. But at the end, while I'm starting to slow down, I look down. I'm like, oh boy! My hand immediately started to slow down. I'm like, oh, that's a little quick. It's a little fast.
That's a little bit, yeah. Well,
but,
you weren't really impressed by that 200 number, so that tells me a little bit of something there about what you were doing.
That's those are rookie numbers.
All right, guys. I don't like any trades at the moment, guys. Here, I'm keeping an eye on HYMC. I'm not a big fan of it at the moment. It's pulling into the 20. If it finds support at the 20, I could be an interested buyer. There's a buyer here at 360 on MENS, but I don't want to jump into that quickly. It really is going to be the EKSO show if we can get back above 12 and break these umpteen amount of lower highs that we've been putting ever since that 1270 pop. Anything above this 12, here comes, man. We could be finding a bit of a rounded pattern here on EKSO, off the 20 or off 11. It did breach 11 momentarily and then didn't breach it again. So a move above 12 here changes trend. Obviously, we will have to deal with some of the bag holders that could be holding from the pop there at 1150, 1155. We'll have to wait and see if we can get it back above there. But I think it is 7-2 at the moment. So we're going to start the news. There's a whole bunch of different things to talk about today. So, but if there's breakouts, guys, on HYMC, EKSO, men's, any other ones, let me know if they are breaking out. Just tag myself or OB and let us know, and we'll pause things for a second. Shahpaw, Sharif, did you spend a day with no trades, no trade in your zone? Brother, I've got plenty of trades, my man. I've traded 5 names, and I'm positive on all 4, all 5, except one, which was just a punch in and out for Fabian. Well, not for Fabian, because the position board wasn't showing up, so I just wanted it to reset. I'm positive on the day. I'm perfect on the day. So, yeah, that's what you're asking there. Let's get to the news and talk a little bit about some of these big stories. I'm going to talk to him. I'll set up over here. I want to talk about silver, and you've seen OB in silver, Neil in silver, everybody and their mother has been in silver, and as well it should be, because silver has been rocketing up. Obviously a bad day yesterday, but a nice recovery today. So yeah, we'll see if the shorts are getting blown out today, up 6.5%. So the futures did surge as much as 5% in the pre-market, but as I mentioned, up 6.5 percentage points now. March silver futures last traded around 74.17, taking the year-to-date gains to roughly 153%. Again, that is as per or accurate as of the pre-market. The move followed record intraday highs from yesterday, taking it to $80 an ounce, marking the first time, silver's ever reached that level. Despite the breakout, though, silver suffered its largest single-day drop since February of 2021 during the pandemic, closing Monday down 8.7% after failing to hold that $80 level. But the precious metals, man, they have been strong beneficiaries of the geopolitical risk the world finds itself in, as well as inflation hedging demand and a weaker U.S. dollar as people look to diversify away from holding the greenback as the reserve currency, funneling into gold, funneling into silver, sadly not really funneling in to Bitcoin as much as, you know, I had predicted or some others had predicted. Hopefully that changes. The expectations for rate cuts as well going into the next year and tight supply, more on that in a second, have also supported that big move up on silver. But this Lombard Odier Florian, he cautioned that 2026 commodity leadership may rotate towards cyclical materials, potentially reducing silver as a safe haven premium. But there is this, China's upcoming export restrictions on silver could have a restraint or a push down on supply. So if there's going to be a supply constraint, then, you know, we're going to have to see where this thing can go. It could hit $100. That's slated to take place on the 1st of January, adding another risk for supply concerns. Elon taking to X saying that, you know, supply risk is not good given how important silver is in the industrial process, whether we're talking about electronics, solar panels, electric vehicles, data centers, Obi. There's just so much use for silver.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's like, is the demand driving it? What's really driving it? Are banks getting squeezed out? I have no idea, but people are definitely talking about it. That's for sure. And we've been getting that multi-day trend. And silver is hot, man. Commodities as well. And maybe quantitative easing is adding to this, adding to a little bit of the bid as well. So let's take off that. But you can see here, this is the weekly, and the weekly has been solid. 71.22s on the highs there. Now we only have a few days left in this trading week. The question becomes, on this expanding volume on the weekly, what is the probability of that 71 breakout? I might be looking for 75s. We'll see. But this is very, very solid, very interesting right here. Look at that stair step up. Sure, you had to wait. You had to wait. If you were in the long, if you're in the silver long, you had to wait quite a while. Now we're going full on parabolic on this move. Over the past couple of days, amazing, amazing trading vehicle for traders. I would say intraday traders specifically, swing traders as well, of course. But you can see every day it's giving us some opportunity. Even in this pre-market, I was getting involved with this one here. Some distinct participants on the tape giving us some perspective of where the likelihood of price action to go is next. So I think that was pretty good there. And then this breakout as well, right here, Sharif, kind of goes and does not look back. Some of the best trades exhibit that kind of behavior. 69.38 was the pre-market high. 69.35s was the intraday high. And then you got that consolidation and breakout, absolutely beautiful. I did not get involved. I was too busy kind of looking at Apple. Why are you doing that? Don't do that. But silver, absolutely solid here. Now consolidating at the highs, now holding 70. I looked at this for a second and I was like, I want to maybe look for a reversion. I was like, nope, slow down, don't do that. This is squeezing with expanding volume. This gapped down yesterday. I'm sure that people positioned into this being like, okay, well, now this is the backside. Guess what? Today we gap up and we hold. Now we're pushing up even higher. And then we're coming into this 72 after hours high from a few days ago. Last Friday was a nice, beautiful all-day squeeze. We'll be right back from Midday.
This part of the show is brought to you by our friends at Beta Pro by Global X Canada, because we have some exciting news out of Canada for the sophisticated traders on the stream. Beta Pro by Global X Canada, which happens to be Canada's largest provider of leveraged, inverse, and inverse leveraged ETFs, they've just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs, which offer 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and on U.S. Treasuries. But even better, they're offering a special rebate fee, which drops management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. Plus, the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, which offers the potential for pure performance and exposure. If you are a tactical, sophisticated trader who's looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3xdaily to learn more.
Thank you for that. Let's go on. You're done with silver, right?
Yeah, I'm done with silver.
Let's talk about Meta acquiring Manus to accelerate their AI agent strategy. So we've kind of seen, you know, the AI rollout for Meta, and, you know, needless to say, it hasn't been that great. Llama is not being used nearly as much as Zuck would like, despite the fact that he spent up several storms. So another acquisition by him to kind of get the ball rolling on Meta's AI rollout. So they announced the acquisition of Manus, which is a Singapore, more on that in a second, based developer for general purpose AI agents. They build autonomous AI agents capable of doing complex tasks. We're talking like market research, coding, advanced data analysis. It puts it in direct competition with the likes of, agent. What's that called for OpenAI? It's like they're, what the hell is it called? OpenAI's agent thing. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. They used to have a name for it. Now it's kind of part of ChatGPT 5.2, which is kind of why I'm forgetting the name of it. Anyway, Manus claimed annualized average revenue of about $100 million just 8 months after it launched, with a run rate exceeding $125 million. And according to the Journal, the Wall Street Journal, that is, the deal is closing or slated to be closed at around $2 billion, which is roughly in line with what Manus was valued at, I should say, at the last funding round, of course, private. Now, with respect to that Singapore little tidbit there, the company, Manus, was originally founded in China under Butterfly Effect. That was the name of it. It was called Butterfly Effect. Monica.im, I guess, was the website. Manus relocated, though, its headquarters to Singapore in mid-2024, part of its global expansion strategy. To me, though, it just means that they were looking to circumvent regulation because they were a Chinese AI company. They also previously laid off most of their Beijing staff, but they did maintain partnerships with the likes of Alibaba and their Quen team, highlighting the deep ties it has with both East and West. And they gained industry attention earlier this year after claiming superior performance to OpenAI's deep research agent, and they actually beat it in certain benchmarks, which kind of had analysts, taking note of them. The platform's processed apparently over 147 trillion tokens, and Microsoft actually began testing them for Windows 11 as an agent, as an AI agent back in October. Didn't say whether or not Microsoft's going to move ahead with it, but goodness gracious, Copilot sucks, so they probably need something there. What can you tell us, Obi, about Meta?
Yeah, man. So we kind of spoke on this earlier. Bigger picture, very strong uptrend, doing pretty nicely, I think so. We talk about higher time frame, like where are we really coming from, right? Over the past couple of years, we had that beautiful textbook reversion, V-shaped recovery, all the way back up to highs, and then snaps through that high in February of 2024. Since then, nice little chop, pullback, this aggressive pullback, holds sustained, and now we're making a higher low at 600. So if we're gonna follow the trend is your friend. If we're gonna continue this trend here, I think the likelihood of us breaking that 800 eventually, again, with the market, stonks only go up. But if the market continues to bid higher, I think with that tailwind, we could definitely see a little bit of a bid. But something that does concern me shorter term is this strong wiki action that we had off of the past couple of weeks. And then off of earnings, we had that strong kuadunk as well, as you like to say. So that earnings week gave us about a 15% pullback. Since then, we pulled back about 20% and reverted just over 50% of that move, now consolidating around triple sixes. Oh boy. So that's kind of where VWAP is right now. But yeah, strong move on the day today. If you took that pre-market and prior day range break, or even prior Friday break as well. That gave you a little bit of a step up as well. Been holding in and around VWAP. Nice little orbit here on Meta. But yeah, no, I don't have much to say in terms of their fundamentals. I think they're doing exactly what they should be.
All right, let's go on to the next story. Tesla. Q4 deliveries are under pressure despite releasing cheaper models earlier in the quarter. So their expected deliveries, that is, are expected to decline in Q4, driven by, the expiration of the U.S. tax credit, $7,500, which was done away with in September, as well, of course, as intensifying global competition, even though the company is rolling out cheaper models. Visible Alpha, their data points here to about a 13%, give or take, of course, drop in Q4 deliveries. AFJK just made it intraday high. So AFJK is moving, HYMC is moving, and MENS is moving for the small cap traders out there. Even as the so 13% drop they're assuming here in Q4 deliveries. With consensus, again, there's a whole bunch of numbers out there, really depending on who you're looking at, but the numbers I have here, 423 to 433,000 deliveries in Q4. That would mark, this year would mark, I should say, the second consecutive annual decline for deliveries for Tesla, with deliveries expected to come in total here once we change the calendar to 1.65 million cars. That would be down 7.8% year over year, even with the pull forward that we've seen with the $7,500 tax credit removal. Guys, Afrojack just hit $80. AFJK is really moving here. It's insane. It's up 83, 86% now. It keeps taking out highs. AFJK is him at the moment. Here it is. Bottom left, sorry, Fabian. 81.48. I don't know if it's halted quite yet. I don't have my halt scanner, but 81.48 high. Last time I saw it, it was like a $5 spread. So you need to be careful with that, but it is really moving. And shout out to 2 New York Cents, who printed up multiple storms on that one. So the delivery slowdown is kind of being led by North America and Europe, where EV demand has softened and price competition has really took off. Europe in specific, though, remains the key pressure point, not just because of Elon Musk's political affiliations in Europe or some of the parties that he's championing, but it's the entry of the Chinese EVs into Europe. We saw England, for example, where BYD had over 300% increases an increase, I should say, in registrations year over year for like 3 straight quarters, I think. So the Chinese are coming in with a much cheaper product and smaller, by the way, which is, I guess, more conducive for the European environment. Tesla's Model 3 is the smallest car they have, and that's big in Europe. Analysts note that Asia, though, is a relative bright spot, but not enough to kind of offset the weakness that Tesla is experiencing globally. Just to highlight a little bit on the cheaper models that we referenced earlier, in October, Tesla did introduce stripped down versions of the Model Y and the Model 3, calling them the standard versions, roughly about $5,000 off the prior base model. And the idea here was to defend unit volumes, but in so doing, you hurt margins. So you're going to cut down the MSRP, that top line price, to increase the deliveries, which they didn't do, by the way. But you also take home less money because you're compressing your margins. And so it's a bit of a yin and yang balance here. The long-term narrative does remain intact, though. So despite the delivery concerns that we always talk about, Tesla shares are up about 14% year to date. I'll give you 13.86 exactly. And really the fundamentals of the company are less based on cars and deliveries and more about the robo-taxi, more about Optimus, as well as many other kind of extravagant things that Tesla is pursuing. Obi's gone for a second. We're going to go to Adara. Give me your take on Tesla.
I have kind of a crazy theory. I think that they're going to blow this quarter out of the water, or at least they believe they're going to. Now, why do I say that? I have to talk about this again. Yesterday, December 29th, so Monday, Tesla drops this little fun item on their website on the investor relations page. So it says, quote, please find below the latest company compiled delivery consensus of sell side analysts. Blah, blah, blah. Tesla does not endorse any information. But then they named the analysts. Daiwa, DB, whatever, Wedbush. Wedbush is not a sell-side analyst for TSLA. So this is kind of an interesting note here, right? I have a feeling that they're trying to be like, hey, analysts think we're going to suck. Analysts think we're going to have a massive year-over-year decline. And then I think they're going to blow it out of the water, or at least they think they're going to. That's my theory here for TSLA. So rant over there. I am going to post this, though, in our Trader TV live chat, so you guys can see it if you do want to read it for yourself. But yeah, I think it's always interesting when you kind of get a company's thoughts on this. As you guys know, I really dislike over-guiding, but if Tesla's going to lower our expectations, I wonder if they're going to, massively beat any expectation we could have possibly had.
Thank you very much. Just before we go on, boo,
That's a bit of a scare.
B triple freaking U. Don't know what it does, don't care, okay? It is up 115%. It is a market cap of $214 million. It is halted at $18.33. And this, I believe, Bovin, is the 1, 2, 3, 4th, could be the 4th uphold here. B triple U, rocketing up. Unbelievable move here on that. And I also wanted to mention Afrojack, AFJK, also halted upside, 81.48. It is at the high of the day. This is the daily chart, excuse me. Here's the 5-minute chart. There is AFJK, Afrojack halted, 81.48. And Boo is also halted, B triple U, as I mentioned, at $18.33. Be on the lookout for those. All right. AG, just reading Kalua's comment there. AG, yeah, not bad, brother. Only up 3 1/3, but I see it. AG, First Majestic Silver Corp. Thank you for that. So if you're looking for a silver play there, that's up nicely. AG. Shout out to the OG Kalua. Let's go on and talk about NVIDIA getting a bit of a nod today from Truist with respect to its Grok acquisition. Their opinion is it strengthens NVIDIA's moat. So we reported to you guys not long ago that NVIDIA announced a $20 billion non-exclusive licensing agreement with AI accelerator chipmaker Grok, with a Q, not a K, marking the largest deal in NVIDIA's history. Analysts, though, they view the deal as a direct response to growing competition from who? Google. I wouldn't say it's just Google. It is the makers, designers of ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits. They are being used as a cheaper form of chips off which to base AI models, because NVIDIA's GPUs are extremely expensive. Google's TPU ecosystem is the latest ASIC that we've been talking about. There's Trainium, there's others as well. Truist notes Grok's LPU architecture is likely similar to Google's TPU, but optimized for latency and power efficiency, giving NVIDIA a bit of an edge in inference. And that's where AI is going. It's no longer the training. It's more about taking all that data that we already trained on and drawing the right inferences from it. And that requires a different chip, or not a different chip per se. NVIDIA's GPUs can do it, but more efficient ways to use these application-specific integrated circuits. And while Google does not sell its TPUs outright, it does offer TPU access through Google Cloud, as we know. The industry focus here is shifting, as I mentioned, from training to inference, where computing demand, power efficiency, and latency become even more crucial. Analysts are arguing that this acquisition gives NVIDIA proactively protecting its moat. That's kind of what it's doing there, because it didn't even have an ASICs unit. They were just doing strictly GPUs, and we were talking about NVIDIA possibly getting disrupted by that. So clearly they were onto it as well. Grok, the company, claims its LPUs can run inference faster than GPUs with about 10 times more power efficiency. And because of all that, Truist loves it. They even, with a $20 billion headline, analysts stress the deal is manageable given NVIDIA's balance sheet. The cost of picking up Grok for $20 billion represents about 30%, give or take, of gross cash and less than half of net cash. And Truist maintains that $275 price target on NVIDIA. What can you tell us about the look here on NVIDIA?
So I think something interesting to note here is that the selling that came in going into the end of prior week has had a bit of a follow through coming into the beginning, but we've been consolidating sideways, maybe holding structure as well. So is this another leg consolidation? Potential leg coming in, but the selling on Friday was pretty aggressive here. coming in with those imbalances as well, and then that continuation in the not the after hours, in the pre-market as well, 190s all the way down to 187s, and now we're just consolidating sideways here. So even on a day like today, didn't really touch it, didn't really do anything crazy, but you can see higher time frame. Taking a look at the weekly here on NVIDIA, what have we been doing? We tried to get through this 200 level, 212s were the high, and now pulled back into 170s, which is that consolidation low from before. So yeah, we're holding up, holding higher highs and higher lows technically on the higher time frame. But again, I think that 2026 is going to be an interesting year to see if we really continue this kind of a move here. So because I do want to take a look at the 12-month chart to see how we're doing on the year. Take a look at this, Sharif, right? Okay. A little bit of a bottom wick, a bit of a top wick, but this seems like would you say that what's the likelihood of printing 200 next year? I have no idea. But if we continue within this trend, I think the probability of breaking those highs.
Is that the monthly?
This is a 12-month chart.
It's a yearly chart.
So this is a yearly chart here. So yeah.
It looks great when it's on the yearly, eh?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, low volatility. Like everything else is potentially noise, right? Like a lot of the chop we get, sure, 200 to 170, 200 to 140. Right. Even we got that 100 dip. That was a little scary, but we held. Bigger picture, we're holding up quite nicely.
We never breached prior bar low, at least not the last few years.
Yep. Since 22.
Let's go on to the next story. Yeah, men's is looking good, Bhavin. I did call that one out. MENS looking good for the small cap traders out there. Afrojack's halted down, funny enough. Let's go on to the next story. Microsoft. There's going to be a leadership change here to defend their AI edge. I don't know why they feel they have an AI edge. They have a cloud edge. I don't know about their AI, though. So Microsoft CEO, the Nadella Satya, has aggressively reshaped senior leadership to keep the company competitive as the AI race, of course, heats up. The move comes after Microsoft restructured its partnership with OpenAI, which removed that exclusivity and their data center usages. Management is now prioritizing what they're calling in-house AI model development with a faster iteration process they're targeting here. Nadella did hire people to that end. Jay Parikh, he's a former Meta engineering chief. He's going to be running the newly formed core AI unit, which is going to be focused on developer tools and infrastructure. Existing leaders within Softy, Judson Althoff, Judson Althoff, and Ryan Rosalansky, nobody got that, LinkedIn, who was this LinkedIn CEO, they were given expanded responsibilities across sales, marketing, and office products. The reshuffle, the purpose of which is to cut bureaucracy, speed up the execution, as I mentioned, they want to speed up the iteration process, and align engineering more closely with consumer demand, not just put out products that they think are good. Microsoft's early AI lead from its $14 billion OpenAI investment is being challenged by Softy, or by Amazon, by OpenAI. Of course, they're competing directly with them. And even Llama. Copilot has now surpassed about 150 million monthly active users, but that is far less than what Chat is doing, far less than what Claude, Anthropic, obviously Gemini, it's kind of the last one there. I think Joey's the only one that uses it, and he stopped using it too. AI coding tools from startups like Anthropic and Replit are also pressuring Softy's developer ecosystem because they have, what is that called? Visual Basic, right? I mean, they were basically dominating that. Nadella's also adopted a more hands-on, what they're calling founder mode leadership style, including weekly cross-company meetings to surface ideas and urgent developments. And Mustafa Suleyman, who is literally like this mystical figure that hides behind Nadella, he's the head of Microsoft's AI. Apparently, this guy is interesting. I did a little bit of research into this guy a couple of years ago. Apparently, he has a temper, and he can kind of pop off at the mouth, and some people don't really like him. So he has a bit of a reputation, but he's obviously a very accomplished person. Otherwise, he wouldn't be head of AI at Softy. So can you tell us, about the soft one?
So, yeah.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know you were eating, brother.
No, you're good. It's taking a couple bites there. I end up getting a Pokeball. Yeah, this is just around the corner. I was like, that's easy. A Softy, Sideways consolidation, we talk about a potential breakout of this flat top, bit of a held offer here as it consolidates. 490, chop, 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 chop. 482s is the low right there and consolidate. So I'm waiting for what we do with this range, right? No idea what we're going to do here, but we've been pulling back off of higher highs is what I'm seeing here on Softy. So let's just go up to the weekly chart right here and take a look at this double top. That's what I want to point out here at the double top. So, you know, maybe bad omen. I don't know. A lot of people see this and they're just like, oh, you know, that could take a turn. And guess what? Both wicks on the weekly right here. So when we came up into 550s, in July, slams all the way back down to 520s, trades down below 500s, maybe reclaims 500, and then takes another try at that 550, and then slam right back in. This time, they're just like, oh no, we're coming in lower. So what if we slam here twice, what's the likelihood of us breaking this prior low, this consolidation low with that 500 reclaim, right? That got hit back into, now we're consolidating underneath that 500. So what am I looking at here in terms of a potential range? We can, again, if we take out some of this low, I'm just gonna keep it simple. What is the most recent support and resistance, and what direction are we headed in? This is a little bearish for me as well. 550, double tap, can't get through. Sellers are very adamant. Supply is definitely there and showing itself as well at the same time. So that's something I do want to keep in mind and consider for this consolidation here. 470s, though, is holding up quite well for the past few weeks. So, you know, it's a bit of a battle. We talk about support and resistance. This was resistance all the way here in July, this 460 level, and then we come all the way right in with a bit of a slam into 460s, 470s, and then we start consolidating on top. So a bit of a sandwich, recent support turned into resistance right here at 490s, maybe even 500, and prior long-term resistance that was here got broken through, and this is the first time we pull back and test that resistance, and that's so far, as of right now, turned into a bit of support. So that's what I'm looking at here on Softy, bit of a wind-up. We'll see which direction it goes, but the highs are 490s, and then the lows is 460s. All right, that consolidation.
Talk about the U.S. granting temporary China equipment licenses. So what are we talking about here? The U.S. government has granted annual licenses, and annual will make more sense in a second, for 2026, allowing the likes of Samsung as well as SK Hynix, two of the biggest memory producers in the world, with Micron throwing their name there as well, to import specifically U.S. chip-making equipment into their China-based facilities. So it's not just allowing U.S. chip-making equipment to go into China, but just for Samsung and SK Hynix, they get a special permission to do so because they have operations there. The move offers temporary relief after Washington earlier revoked the broad license waivers. The new system that they're going to be employing here replaces the long-term exemptions with a year-by-year approval process, which is kind of, you know, increases policy uncertainty, but it gets control on what China can get their hands on in terms of chip-making equipment. Samsung, SK Hynix, Taiwan Semi-Conductor previously benefited from validated end-user VEU exemptions under the U.S. export controls. That status, expires tomorrow, the 31st of December, meaning any shipments of American chip-making tools to China from here on out will require explicit U.S. export licenses. So the Trump administration kind of is doing this because they're re-examining the export controls. Their argument is the previous policies were too permissive towards China's access to advanced U.S. technology. The goal, of course, is to limit China's progress in high-end semiconductor manufacturing. But as I spoke to you guys yesterday, it is widely believed amongst industry analysts that the Chinese have a form of ultraviolet, extreme ultraviolet lithography machines, the ones that ASML makes. They have maybe 1, 2. Their speculation is it's like a closely guarded secret. We probably won't see any product of that next year. People are saying maybe in 27, but they also have some issues because of the mirrors and stuff like that, which come from Zeiss, which is a German company. So they've hired a whole bunch of people, ex-ASML employees, to come into China to help them, certain engineers. All this stuff is being followed, obviously, by intelligence agencies. So the Chinese are making moves, okay? When they're going to be able to, you know, kind of reach the standard of the West, your guess is as good as mine, but they're making moves. China remains, of course, a critical production base for Samsung and SK Hynix, especially for legacy and traditional memory chips. Memory prices, as you were mentioning this morning, Obi, have absolutely rocketed, whether if it's for your PC or, you know, for these AI servers. So interesting take here from that. I don't know if we want to look at Micron in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the sector as a whole. So yeah, SMH kind of building up into its highs right here. So I think this is a better perspective if you want to take a look at the sector as a whole. 374.43, so 375 is the incoming. Let's see if we can push into 380s. Very strong trend. Dips getting bought up, and yeah, Micron is one of those stocks that really kind of interest me as well. That's pushing all-time highs today, and you know, a bit of a continuation from yesterday, but a sideways chop. So I'm definitely going to be watching this one tomorrow, Sharif. We might be able to get through that 300. Finally, leg consolidation, sideways action, another leg tomorrow, perhaps. That's what I'm thinking about. But range day is a little bit more important to me. Here, the range low of today, or the day low, is sitting at 292s. The highs at 298, 83s. So just shy of that 300, and maybe some more fresh all-time highs if this market continues to kind of trend up. We know how the memory scene has been, or turned into now. I was talking to Neil about this as well. They have all of this, all these data centers. They have all of this technology. Kind of, they have the RAM sitting around. They have graphics cards. I saw a picture of like a wall of graphics cards, just 5090 RTX 5090s, just like sitting there unused, right? Because they can, I get, like they just don't have the space for it. They don't have, maybe they can't afford to power everything, but they've just sat on this inventory. They're accumulating this inventory, almost cornering the market in a sense. I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea. I have no idea what they're doing, but the prices kind of speak for themselves. The volume and price action also speaks for itself as well.
I'm going to put you to the test here, Ob.
That's me.
I do this to Joey all the time. Micron.
Yep.
Year to date.
Okay.
Percentage.
100%.
Keep going, baby.
200%.
Keep going.
400%.
252.
Okay. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Well
Who's
done,
going to
Mike
complain about that? Guys, shout out to Scott H. Thank you, Scott, for pointing this out. N as in Nancy, like Nancy Pelosi, the best trader ever. NBY is really making a move here. There's a nice breakout. We were trading this last week, and it's up nicely here, 24.75%, just taking out $6. Nice breakout there. I want to say right at 1 o'clock, Scott, the breakout, the uninterrupted higher highs and higher lows. So NBY, keep your eye out on that one. Nice midday mover in the world of small cap gappers. Let's go on to the next story. Another China chip-related story. China pushes domestic chip equipment use, and now they're requiring their chip makers to source at least 50% of new equipment domestically when adding, or expanding capacity. According to sources spoken to by Reuters, Reuters is the one that published a story. The rule is not publicly documented, so they haven't announced this in the open, but fabs apparently, according to Reuters, must prove compliance through procurement tenders and receive state approval. Authorities do prefer the domestic shares to well above 50%, with the long-term goal, of course, getting near 100% localization. I wouldn't put it past the Chinese. Why are they doing this? So the mandate was accelerated after the U.S. technology export restrictions, starting with previous President Biden in 2023, once this whole AI chip thing really started taking off. Even where foreign tools from the US, Japan, or Europe, even South Korea, are still available, Chinese fabs are being steered towards local suppliers. So even if you can get the part cheap and get it now, they're trying to force their companies to actually wait, get it from another Chinese manufacturer so that they can rely more on the domestic production. Interesting take, probably a short-term headwind, but likely a long-term tailwind, one has to assume here. Flexibility does exist, though, according to the article, in advanced nodes. We're talking the 3 and the 2 nanometer process where domestic tools are not yet fully viable. Extreme ultraviolet lithography, as we just spoke about there. President Xi Jinping called for, quote, the whole nation approach to semiconductor self-sufficiency, and China's backed this push with big boy funding to the tune of about $50 billion. State-linked buyers placed a record, state-linked, not private companies, a record 421 orders this year for domestic lithography tools. Now, as I mentioned to you guys yesterday, the deep ultraviolet lithography, not extreme ultraviolet lithography, is well kind of possessed. The technology is well possessed by the Chinese. I think Nikon and Canon and stuff, they also make that there. So that's not the cream of the crop, but it also helps them scale less advanced chips. And here are some of the companies, if in case you want to go on the exchanges where these companies trade. Naura Technology and Advanced Microfabrication Equipment. AMEC, is that trade here? That's what it says. AMEC? No. AMEC is not on any of my exchanges there. So you'll have to figure out what tickers those trade under on whatever exchanges. So apparently this Naura is testing etching tools on a 7 nanometer line. So again, 7 nanometer, not even close to being the most successful. So Obi.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what angle you want to take here in terms of technicals, but I just wanted to mention this story. We can go on because there's really no specific story, stock to look at. Let's talk about Applied Digital, APLD. They're tying the knot here with EKSO, which I've been trading all day today. EKSO Bionics for an AI infrastructure spin-out catalyst. So EKSO, which is EKSO, the one that we were involved in earlier, disclosed a non-binding term sheet with Applied Digital, tickers, of course, APLD, for those who don't know, for a proposed business combination involving Applied Digital's accelerated compute platform. The deal would merge APLD's cloud compute unit with EKSO to form Chronoscale Corporation. It's going to be an AI-focused infrastructure business, which is going to operate independently. It's positioning itself as an enterprise-grade kind of GPU-accelerated cloud compute platform. So to me, it's a neo-cloud like Nebius and CoreWeave. It's targeting AI training and inference workload, so not just one. The transaction separates Applied Digital's accelerated computing platform from its data center ownership and the development business. So they're splitting those up. The structure allows Chronoscale to scale independently, kind of like CoreWeave with maybe NVIDIA. Probably not a great example there, but the point is it's likely going to be a neocloud. Post-transaction, though, APLD is expected to retain about 97% of those Chronoscale, and EKSO, which is EKSO, plans to explore strategic alternatives for all or substantially all of its legacy operations. So they're looking at divesting away from that old stuff and really focusing here on neocloud compute. Obi, what can you tell us about EKSO or APLD? Take your pick, baby.
Yeah, we can take a quick look at APLD here. I don't necessarily look at these on a daily basis, but when they do come into play, definitely within the watch list here. But we've been pulling off of these higher highs here, 4020s I'm seeing as all-time highs, and we've been making lower highs and lower lows, maybe a little bit of a base on top of this 22 as well. So a bit of a backside move here on APLD. What was the other stock you were saying?
EKSO, that's the one that was
EKSO, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So EKSO Bionics. So a little bit of volume coming in today, but again, very, very much backside on this one. This is another one of those names that they keep selling every single pop. So APLD a little bit more tame than this one here. You can see the difference. Every single significant pop eventually gets sold off pretty aggressively here on EKSO, but APLD a little bit healthier. We do have that stronger trend. Post-split seems like was the place to really get involved with this one as it continued higher and higher, stair-step up. Now the question becomes, because we're so overextended, do the legs become much wider, and do we have to kind of keep that into consideration while this kind of price action is forming here on APLD? So that's all I really have for that.
All right. Sounds good, Ob. Let's go on to the next story. Boeing lands an $8.6 billion F-15 contract as their defense business, the backlog for that gets a boost. So Boeing was awarded an $8.7 billion Pentagon contract tied to the F-15 Israel program following meetings yesterday, of course, between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu. The deal covers design, integration, testing, production, and the delivery of 25 new F-15IA fighter jets with an option for 25 more. So the deal could be worth 50. This is structured as a foreign military sales FMS agreement, reinforcing Boeing's role as a U.S.-backed defense exporter. The U.S. remains Israel's largest arms supplier. We know that. The contract work here is going to be performed primarily in St. Louis, Boeing's key defense manufacturing hub. The program is long dated as well, with completion expected by December 31st, 2025. So you have a nice little runway there of about 9 years, adding a multi-year revenue visibility. And defense revenue remains Boeing's highest margin and lower cycle risk versus commercial aircraft deliveries, even though they have insane amounts of demand for their commercial aircraft. It's production and how many they can actually produce per month that really seems obviously to be a bit of the bottleneck here, Obi. So what can you tell us about Boeing?
I think Boeing, we had a little bit of turbulence earlier this year, right? I think that's definitely something to consider.
My bad,
but
St. Louis. Sorry, guys, my bad.
180 back through, that's a full-on V-shaped recovery, right? So when we're looking at this 220, 200 re-break right here, the question becomes, is this recovery good enough to be like, all right, we are back above some of those places where sellers got very, very aggressive, pushing into the bid on bad news. Makes sense, right? But once we get above this 226, 225s, 242s as well, what's the potential for us to really get explosive above that? Because we know that people position in short on this, and that worked out quite well, but we made a full circle all the way back. So that's the kind of action that I'm kind of looking for. The daily breakout, here's the daily breakout of 22620s. That is definitely going to be very, very interesting to me, and that is not that far away, Sharif.
Zion, man, these pictures that you sent me are awesome. Zion Lala just showed me a picture of it, or a video of his office. They have a gym in the office.
Ooh, nice.
Someone's jealous.
Yeah, oh, I'm very jealous, of course. Look at all the empty areas we have here. I want a gym in that corner right there. I'll bring the squat rack, Fabian. I'll bring my extra squat rack. I'll put it right there. Yeah, well, that not right, like over there. You guys can't see it, but there's plenty of room here. Shout out to Zion, man. That's fantastic. Thanks for sending that, Zion. What an OG. Let's talk a little Lulu, Obi. So we got this headline. This is not a new headline. This is from yesterday, but we didn't really cover it at length during the news segment. So I wanted to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about it, since it's a great Canadian company. Not so good this year, of course, but I still like them. Lululemon Athletica founder Chip Wilson, he has launched a proxy fight, nominating 3 independent directors to the board. The move comes days after the company announced CEO Calvin McDonald's exit, raising fresh concerns about the leadership stability. Wilson criticized the board for poor oversight and a lack of clear CEO succession plan, calling this the 3rd major failure in governance by the company. So here's who he nominated. Mark, I don't know how to say it, Mark Moorer, let's just go with that. Former CEO of co-CEO, I should say, of On Running. Obviously, a lot of experiment in athleisure wear there. Laura Gentile, she's the former ESPN Chief Marketing Officer. She brings branding and building and marketing depth. And then Eric Hirschberg, he's a former Activision CEO with experience scaling global consumer brands. So there's a look there. Lulu, as we know, struggled to kind of re-accelerate growth this year with the younger, more affluent customers. Their lunch is being eaten, from what I understand. What's that other one called? The one on corner of Bay and Bloor over there. What is that called? The other Lulu.
Oh, Alo.
Alo, thank you.
Yeah, Alo.
Fast-growing rivals, yeah, right there, man. Alo Yoga and Vuori, I think there's others. Aerie continue to gain share, intensifying competition in premium activewear. And we already know Elliott Management, they're an activist investor. They've also been putting pressure on management, adding to that near-term uncertainty. So it's an interesting take here. Obi, obviously Lulu's not had the best year. What's your take?
No, yeah, I think we started off the year pretty dead, I would say. We pulled back. We've pretty much only been selling for the majority of the year 420 highs coming in right in January. So by the end of January, we attempt to break 420. Doesn't really happen, and all the way back down. Higher highs, higher lows, even earnings swipes as well, brings us down for a little bit of a base at 159. So we've consolidated here for multiple months here. So was that about from September all the way to December. So catching a little bit of a bid on prior earnings here, stepping up. So maybe this is the first time that we are potentially getting a bit of a bid. You can see this earnings sold off, this earnings sold off. Excuse me, the prior 3 earnings sold off, gapped down on Lulu. This is the first one that gapped up.
Finally.
Is this distinctly different is the question that I'm asking.
So I went there. I just want to say, before we get Adair's opinion, I went there a few days ago, I think on the 27th, so not because the 26th was super bad weather.
Yeah.
And I was just going to see, you know, I was at Fairview. Actually, I didn't even go to York.
To Aloe?
No.
Oh, to Lulu. Okay, yeah.
Went to go see, like, do they have any deals? Bro,
Yeah.
their markdowns are minimal, if that.
That's with everything these days. We talked about how, like,
better deals at Nike. Nike was 30% off the entire store, right? And then they had even deeper markdowns on certain items, not all, but it was 30 off the entire store. You go into Lulu, it's one restricted section of markdowns, and they're not even that big. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, there was these nice kind of athleisure pants that are super baggy, like the new style. They were like $148 regular price. It's $100, right? Okay, not bad. 48% off, not bad, not bad. But the idea is, like, it's not on everything. It's just on 1 or 2 items. So yeah, so the point is they're maintaining their margins and not really enticing people, or not really kind of giving up their margin game here to kind of get more top line number.
I think that, like, they already know that their customer, they probably have a loyal customer, that the customer maybe probably doesn't care about too much about the discounts. Maybe if they figured that out, they're a little more loose on you know, just being, or more conservative on putting things on sale. I don't know.
Maybe that's like. They're just trying to maintain their margins. That's just my take. Adira, I'd like to hear what you have to say about Lulu.
Yes, so I have a couple thoughts on Lulu in terms of its brand experience, and then also, you know, this whole situation with the proxy fight. To start with the brand experience, like, I will fully agree that it's expensive. I have purchased one Lululemon item in my adult life, and that's because my friend is an employee and I got a secret discount. So I will fully, and even then it was still pretty expensive. So Lulu's expensive, that's fine. I think that, you know, addressing that might not be the crux of their issue. I think it's just about keeping the customers they do have. And I think getting solid management in is gonna help the stock. Now, with regards to this proxy fight, this is not the only proxy fight for Lululemon. You know, a couple weeks ago, I believe it was December 18th, it was the Thursday, we hear that apparently Elliott, which is, of course, an activist investor, they're going to get involved, and they're trying to get in a former executive of, I believe, Ralph Lauren to come in here and be like, hey, we're going to help switch up Lululemon. That's their CEO pick. It's interesting, too. Chip Wilson, founder, doesn't seem to have a CEO pick with regards to his proxy fight, as far as I can tell. He just has some board members. Now, I wonder if they're going to pull a Stephen J. Helmsley or a Bob Iger, and they're going to bring the former CEO, and in this case, founder, back to the company. I don't know if that's a bad look here, truthfully, for LULU. Let's see if they do it. But clearly, Chip Wilson has some issues with the company. If he maybe can even collaborate with Elliott, the other activist investor involved in this, that could be an interesting move. But I think the fact that there's 2 proxy fights going on right now should not be discounted.
Thank you very much for that, guys. Just before we go on to the next topic, I want to bring your attention to NBY. I was just tagging Bovin and KC526 to tell them about this, but this is still going. Shout out to Scott H, man. You brought this to my attention. We traded this last week or earlier this week. I can't really remember. But the point is, it's breaking out with a flat top break through 570, and it really hasn't looked back since. It did a little bit of a dance here with $6, but once it cleared it, it almost looked like, you know, 6 was automatically a level of support. All these bottoming tail candles show you the buyers were picking this up aggressively off 6, and now we are at the high of the day, 637. It's up 30%. Who knows where this is going to go, but it's a good breakout here. NBY, I just wanted to mention that for the small cap gapper traders out there. Let's go on and talk about XPeng. Where's it up? Is it up still? It was up nicely earlier. XBEV, yeah, 4.5%. Not really giving up the ghost, but it's off the high, 21.97 high. It's showing 42s now. Morgan Stanley. So XBEV had a number of headlines today. This is the one that I just chose to cover, that Morgan giving them the nod, but they did have other headlines as well. You can go and do a bit of a deep dive on those. So Morgan Stanley expects China's auto industry to face cyclical and policy headwinds going into next year, including pricing pressure. They're already experiencing pricing pressure. Subsidy shifts as the Chinese government subsidizes these less so that they become exportable. That is one of the reasons they're having a hard time getting into every European jurisdiction, because the Europeans are saying, look, you're subsidizing these manufacturers in a way we're not, so we're going to tariff you. And that's what they're doing. They're doing it on a piecemeal basis. Despite those challenges, the firm argues these dynamics could become territorially and technologically beneficial, favoring companies that have scale, export reach, and advanced tech stack. XPeng is highlighted by Morgan as its preferred Chinese auto stock going into the first half of next year, alongside Geely and SAIC. The key driver here for Morgan is resilient domestic demand combined with accelerating overseas sales. I just got to stop here for a second. You guys know I'm Egyptian. XPeng just opened up one big factory and service center in Egypt. It's insane. Apparently, it's like, I don't know, I think a few square kilometers or something. Like, they have the entire area. And so that's one entrant, obviously, into the Middle East's most populous country. We're likely going to see them in Dubai and Qatar and Saudi and everywhere else if they're not already there. The article I was reading today was Egypt specific. XPeng is also positioning itself as a software-defined vehicle leader with its ADAS and its intelligent EV platforms. It copies like Tesla. You can kind of tell there. Morgan also flagged a potential non-auto second act re-rating where valuation upside could come from software and autonomous driving capabilities. They've been pursuing that pretty aggressively, as well as platform monetization and services beyond pure vehicle sales. So they're kind of trying to reframe XPeng here from a purely EV automaker into kind of like a Tesla, where the software plays a strategic role. Obi, what can you tell us about this?
Yeah, I think XPeng, like, we have yet to kind of see them do something significant, and they're starting to make that move. I think that's what you're getting at here. So I think it's important to kind of take a look at where we've been basing and how we've been kind of consolidating here. On top of the 18, that's what stands out to me the most here. For the past year, pretty much all year, we've held this base in and around 18 multiple times over and over again, and we've attempted to push that high at 25s, 28s a couple of times here. So a nice little consolidation on a much higher time frame here. We finally kind of picked up off of its former glory. I remember during post-COVID, this name was going absolutely aggressive to the upside, and then the backside was absolutely beautiful as well. But look, we kind of based in and around all-time low is $6 here. Kind of based, started to step up, and now holding that 1790s as of right now. So on the year. So if we look at the 12-month chart, quick look at that one, you'll see the wick low right here, in and around this area right here. I guess, yeah, no, it's not, maybe I'm wrong. It's saying 11, so maybe I'm not looking at the chart as closely as I think. But that consolidation in and around 18s is very, very adamant. Okay, cool. Yeah, we did pull up all the way here. January is where we traded in and around some of those lows, those 12 lows there as well. But for majority of the year, we're holding base and holding structure. Sideways consolidation, multi-month. Sure, it's wide. Crazy. But the question becomes, again, similar kind of a trade where it's like we've made a range, which is somewhat significant. Which way do we break this range? That's the question I will be asking.
Adira, give us your take, please, on XPeng.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, too, because XPeng seems like this really reacted to yesterday's news. That Morgan Stanley note did come out yesterday morning. It was on our morning watch list yesterday, Trader TV Live watch list, in addition to another XPeng story that I think is maybe even more interesting, and I don't really think we're going to get all of the excitement here until next year, by which I mean XPeng alongside Peking University in China, they announced that they have a research paper and it's been approved and it's going to be accepted to this AAAI 2026 event. It is an AI themed event, as you can kind of tell, maybe by the last two letters in that acronym. But either way here, Fast Drive VLA is the concept that's being introduced in this paper by XPeng and Peking University. This is a visual token pruning method for end-to-end autonomous driving. So interesting look there. Hopefully we'll get more on that in 2026 when this event is held. But yeah, interesting. XPeng, some stories from yesterday morning, pushing it higher this morning.
Yeah, so this is the P7. This is their most famous sedan. I'm not a sedan guy, but I can definitely appreciate the beauty of this car. This is a beautiful freaking car, man. I don't know, from however you want to slice this. This is fantastic looking. I mean,
Pretty.
yeah. Are these doors actually like that in real life, or is that just?
Got those Lambo doors, those butterfly.
Yeah,
those are not
exactly.
butterfly doors. Those are Lambo doors.
Yeah, those are Lambo doors, right? I mean, this is a beautiful car, and people used to make fun of them for copying Tesla. I don't think this car looks like Tesla's cars at all. Now, what they do copy, I think, is some of the FSD stuff, because I don't even see LiDAR on this. I'll have to look into this, but in any event, that is the P7. Let's go on to the next story. Polestar, not really that important. BMNR, this was, again, from yesterday, but we didn't cover it on the news yesterday, so I just wanted to cover this. Bitmine disclosed it now controls 3.41% of all Ethereum in circulation, positioning itself as the largest ETH treasury globally. Its combined crypto holdings, including cash and venture-style investments, now total $13.2 billion. You know, underscoring that aggressive balance sheet strategy. As of the 28th of December, Bitmine held 4.11 million ETH, 192 Bitcoin, and a $23 million stake in 8 Coal Holdings, as well as $1 billion in cash, giving it substantial liquidity optionality. I don't know about substantial, but it's nice to know. The company added 44,463 ETH in the past week. Where the hell is ETH right now? ETH, below 3,000, up 1.4% on the day, 29.68, but still below 3. Kind of reinforcing its role as the largest fresh money buyer of ETH globally. Management did frame this recent buying as opportunistic amid what they're calling seasonally low market activity. Nice. Bitmine's scale now places it second only to Strategy MSTR in overall crypto treasury size, but number 1 in ETH exposure. All right, Fabian, let's do this, baby. All right, guys, Signal, AMZN, and the new traders on the stream, listen up. The first month is absolutely free. That's right. We're waiving those fees so you can trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite experience. You'll analyze, you'll strategize, and then hopefully you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything. We're talking infinite data, instant trading, and they've got lightning fast market insights and game-changing charts. And you can predict better with their backtesting tool. Yes, they have backtesting tool. You get reliable, you get real-time data, you get global markets at the tips of your fingers. It is literally an all-in-one platform, so don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code or click the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks there at eSignal. Bitmine is also preparing to launch its Maven, Made in America validator network in early 26, working with 3 staking providers. Currently about 408,000 and change ETH is already staked, representing about $1.2 billion at current prices. At full development, though, management estimates about $374 million in annual staking revenue, about 2.81% of CESR, or about $1 million per day, materially changing the cash flow dynamics. BMNR, Obi, the chart looks like hot garbage. I would know because I'm in it.
Yeah, no, a bit of backside move right here. We know how some of these stocks are kind of pulling back. MSTR, another one that's kind of similar to this one, testing consolidation lows. And yeah, if crypto takes a little bit of a leg down, guess what? We definitely have a lot of room to go. This move started off here, earlier on this year in June, all the way down at $5, just shy of $5 right there. And then we had a strong push, but since then, we haven't really been going anywhere, Sharif. Kind of sideways consolidation. Sure, the legs have been pretty wide, 70 to 30s right here, but we're coming right back into some of these base lows here. And so what's the ultimate low of the base right here? 24.33 is where that's at. And we're kind of creeping into that slow, steady bleed. So I don't know, man. I think if crypto catches a little bit of a leg down, we failed to follow through 125s for now. And if we take a bit of a pullback into range, into trend, we talked about how far crypto can pull back, something like a Bitcoin or even like an ETH. Over time, they've had 80%, 70, 80% pullbacks. That's within range, right? So if we do a little bit of that, some of these things are definitely more poised to crack those lows. So yeah, it's definitely not looking too good if crypto does that, because some of these things, like taking a look at MSTR here. Yeah, take a look at the strategy.
Goodness.
I mean, that was a good strategy while it was there, but then the short strategy is working out quite nicely as well. So here's the monthly on this one right here. Look at that right there. That is a little bit of a quadunk back into prior structure, prior consolidation here. 100 to about 202s. We're coming right into that area here on MSTR as well. So,
all right. Did you know that Joey and I had a bet about the price of Bitcoin?
Okay. What was the bet?
So the bet was that it would hit 125,000 by my birthday, which is May 25th. Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And
Hold
it
on.
did. Yeah.
It ended up hitting 125 on his birthday, October 5th. Like, what the hell are they? I wanted to know, like, the statisticians, the actuarial mathematicians. If you're in the chat, I just want to know what the odds of that are. I can find out, obviously, using
Did they ever
LLM.
give you the American Eagle jeans?
Oh, yeah. Well, I got my money, Ram.
Oh, loser.
Using an ET.
Sorry, what?
It is ET.
It's
Obi,
EMT.
Is it ET or EMT?
No, but seriously though, what are the odds of that? Like, it hits 125,000 on his damn birthday, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm at 100.
That's a little rough, man. I'm sorry.
All right, let's go on. Last story here, guys. Citigroup, they're exiting Russia. I mean, okay. Welcome to 2022. Russia exit accelerates one-time hit to earnings. So Citigroup's board approved a plan to sell AO Citibank, its remaining Russian businesses, to Renaissance Capital, marking a near complete exit. The transaction is part of Citi's broader multi-year effort to reduce geopolitical and regulatory risk tied to non-core international operations. The deal follows formal approval from Russian President Vladimir Putin, clearing the regulatory hurdle that had delayed prior exit attempts. So it wasn't them not trying to get out. There was them trying, and Putin was like, yeah, right? So now it looks like Putin's on Donald's in his good side, so he's letting this go through. Just me spitballing here. Citi expects a pre-tax loss of about $1.2 billion tied to the sale, which will be reorganized in the current quarter. Management flagged that the sale loss figure could still change due to Forex movements as well as closing adjustments. We haven't got those yet. The transaction is expected to be signed and closed in the first half of next year, according to Citi's SEC filing. So yeah, it just goes back here and talks about accounting stuff. But Obi, give us your take here on Citi.
That's Citibank. Okay, yeah, Citigroup. Yeah, no. You know how strong the banks are this year, man? Absolutely crazy. This is, I guess that's the crisis. This is the banking crisis that, legendary. People were talking about you could come in here every single day, hit the short, and be good.
It hasn't even come close to recovery.
I mean, we're starting to get about a 50% reversion on the monthly chart here. So yeah, of course, 08, the banks took a little bit of a hit, but strong trend back out after we break out of this multi-year. Man, we've been down here for a very, very long time here. So from 09s to 25s, yeesh. So that's a little rough. Finally catching a little bit of a bid back up. 120s on the horizon, as that is the high, 122.84s. But yeah, look at this prior consolidation. I don't know if the player's still positioned in from some of these prices, but something to watch out for. I think that we are making a bit of a recovery. And the thing is, like, maybe you're getting that tailwind from a lot of banks just pushing all-time highs. Like, look at our market.
For sure.
Like TD, RY, the Scotiabank as well. It's just like they're pretty much near all-time highs. The market is also, the TSX is doing pretty well as well. But yeah, the banks have been catching a pretty strong bid for a good chunk of the year, I would say. So a little bit of tailwind from that.
It's very interesting too, because they had like these loan loss provisions. They were thinking that we were going to have carnage in the housing market and mortgages, and there were going to be power sales, foreclosures for those south of the border. And it really didn't happen. Every quarter, their loan loss provisions are less and less and less and less, and that's money that they can't have on the equity side of the balance sheet. They got to keep that on the liability side, right? Yeah. So it's nice to see that we're not having that kind of carnage, obviously. We are going to send it to Adara, and when all is said and done, Obi is going to be on that side of the desk with Neil. I'll see everybody shortly on the afternoon rundown. Make sure to vote, guys.
I want to talk about SMCI. SMCI getting a little bit of a pop after the information reports that Elon Musk's XAI is buying a building for a third supersized data center. Now, I always like to provide caveats for some sources. The information often reports things that we kind of already know or things that have already happened. So kind of take